Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Hold no punches.
I'm real revolutionary right now. Black power.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
I Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig? Today is Wednesday, September 11, 2024. Coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. Folks, we have lost an icon. Frankie Beverly has passed away at the age of 77. We will honor him with a special tribute. Amazing folks lined up to share their thoughts. Seth the Entertainer, Anthony Hamilton, Sheila E., Kenny Lattimore, so many others will be joining us to share their thoughts about Frankie Beverly. I'll also show you some exclusive photos and videos from that cull from our friendship over the years, and we'll also stream for you the show that I hosted and produced on TV One called Simply Amazing, where I sat down for a one-on-one with Frankie Beverly. You don't want to miss that. Folks, also today's show, after Tuesday night's presidential debate, woo, my goodness, MAGA folks are losing their mind. They are mad, upset with the moderators, mad with her, mad with Trump. But we tried to tell you he was going to be horrible. Also, how can Vice President Kamala Harris, can she build upon last night's debate to increase her black support? We'll talk with the co-founder of Black Insights Research to break down all the polling data. Also, folks, last night's debate, you heard all this nonsense that Trump cited about Haitians eating animals. Well, that's pissed off the Haitian community. There's some 400,000 in Florida alone. We'll talk to the Haitian American member of Congress about that. Also, Tyreek Hill admits he could have responded better to his run-in with Miami-Dade officers during his detainment. I'll talk to the City of Miami's Civilian Investigative Panel's Executive Director about those cops' actions. Folks, there's a lot to break down, and it's time to bring the funk on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Let's go.
He's got it. Whatever the miss, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, roll, roll, y'all. It's Roland Martin. Rolling with Roland now. He's
Folks, last night, and when I left the studio after our 6-hour broadcast of the last night's debate, I got the phone call that iconic singer Frankie Beverly had passed away in the Bay Area. He was 77 years old. He just retired after more than 50 years in music. There were many tributes that took place this year. He was honored at the Urban One Honors, Lifetime Achievement Award from the NAACP, and also there was a special honor for him at Essence Festival this year as well. So many folks have been commenting about the passing of Frankie Beverly. This video here, folks, that I shot, this is actually from St. Louis. This was June 22nd when I went to St. Louis to see Frankie Beverly and Mays, to see the OJs and the Whispers, and on his farewell tour. And so many people all this morning have been responding and remembering Frankie Beverly. We have an amazing tribute lined up that will take place from 7 to 9 p.m. Among the folks who we've already booked who are going to be on the show to share their thoughts and reflections about Frankie Beverly, Kenny Lattimore, Melba Moore, Sheila E., longtime Essence Magazine editor Susan Taylor, singer Shelby J., singer Chris Walker, and also four former members of Maze, including the last living founder of Maze, Rome. We also have Calvin Napper, longtime guitarist Jubu Smith, and Daniel Weatherspoon as well. I just got some text messages, and we'll also be joined by Seth the Entertainer, Anthony Hamilton, and also others sent tributes like Gerald Albright and others. And so we look forward to honoring our dear brother Frankie Beverly, who is now an ancestor at the age of 87. Again, that'll take place from 7 to 9, and then from 9 to 10, we will air the one-on-one interview that I did with Frankie Beverly that aired on TV One in December 2017. Folks, last night was the presidential debate between Vice President Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, and today the MAGA folks are out of their minds. Donald Trump was calling into Fox News, complaining about ABC, saying they needed to have their license taken. It's not actually how it works with the FCC, Donald. But what you're also seeing is, as I predicted last night, a surge of support, more than $12 million raised in the last 24 hours. That number's been going up via Act Blue. Also, volunteers and others. And when you look at the polling data that has come out in the last couple of weeks, a lot of that polling data has been focused on. A lot of the polling data has been. Come on, guys. Thank you. A lot of the polling data has been focused on other voters, and a lot of bad polling data, frankly, is really undercounting African Americans. And so we reached out to our next guest. He's really been focused on a lot of this here. Let's do this here, folks. We were having a slight technical issue. I'm going to go to break. I'm going to come back. And we're going to talk to Chris about the polling data. We'll be right back on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
He told us who he was.
Should abortion be punished?
There has to be some form of punishment.
Then he showed us.
For 54 years, they were trying to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I did it, and I'm proud to have done it.
Now Donald Trump wants to go further with plans to restrict birth control, ban abortion nationwide, even monitor women's pregnancies. We know who Donald Trump is. He'll take control. We'll pay the price.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
On the next Get Wealthy with me, Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, are you trying to figure out how to earn more revenue in your business during these volatile times? Learn how to tap into the largest marketplace in the world through government contracting. Our next guest, Akia Hardnett, will be sharing how you can get wealthy through government contracting.
We got a young lady, government assistance to government contracts. She literally was on government assistance when she came to us, and in less than a year, she has been winning multiple government contracts, and it has changed the trajectory of her family.
That's right here, only on Black Star Network.
He told us who he was.
Should abortion be punished?
There has to be some form of punishment.
Then he showed us.
For 54 years, they were trying to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I did it. And I'm proud to have done it.
Now Donald Trump wants to go further with plans to restrict birth control, ban abortion nationwide, even monitor women's pregnancies. We know who Donald Trump is. He'll take control. We'll pay the price.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Here's a 78-year-old billionaire who has not stopped whining about his problems.
Oh, she had a big crowd. Oh, the crowd.
This weird obsession with crowd sizes. It just goes on and on and on. America's ready for a new chapter. We are ready for a President Kamala Harris.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
In 2016, Donald Trump said he would choose only the best people to work in his White House. Now those people have a warning for America. Trump is not fit to be president again. Here's his vice president.
Anyone who puts himself over the Constitution should never be president of the United States. It should come as no surprise that I will not be endorsing Donald Trump this year.
His defense secretary.
Do you think Trump can be trusted with the nation's secrets ever again?
No. I mean, it's just irresponsible action that places our service members at risk, places our nation's security at risk.
His national security advisor.
Donald Trump will cause a lot of damage. The only thing he cares about is Donald Trump.
And the nation's highest-ranking military officer.
We don't take an oath to a king or a queen or to a tyrant or a dictator. And we don't take an oath to a wannabe dictator.
Take it from the people who knew him best. Donald Trump is a danger to our troops and our democracy. We can't let him lead our country again.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
The overturning of Roe almost killed me. I had a blood clot in my uterus that caused my labor to have to be induced because of the overturn of Roe v. Wade. I wasn't able to get life-saving treatment sooner. I almost died. And that's because of the decision that Donald Trump made.
I was able to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I'm proud to have done it.
The doctors and nurses were afraid that if they treated me in the incorrect way, that they would be prosecuted for that. And that's appalling. Donald Trump says that women should be punished.
Do you believe in punishment for abortion?
There has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah.
I believe that women should have reproductive freedom to make the choices about their own bodies. 4 more years of Donald Trump means that women's rights will continue to be taken away one by one by one by one. This has to stop because women are dying.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Hey, what's up? It's Sammy Roman.
Hey, it's John Murray, the executive producer of the new Sherry Shepherd Talk Show.
It's me, Sherry Shepherd, and you know what you're watching, Roland Martin Unfiltered.
All right, folks, we got all the technical issues all sorted. Let's now go to Christopher Toller. He's the director of the Black Voter Project. He's co-founder of Black Insights Research. Joining us from Sacramento. Chris, glad to have you on the show. So you've been posting a number of tweets breaking down a lot of these polls. And what is consistent is how you keep laying out how they are completely underreporting Black voters. And so you've been looking at North Carolina and Georgia and Michigan. So just take us through what you have been seeing with all of these mainstream polls that they keep focusing on.
Well, I think what we've seen since Harris took over the ticket in a lot of these polls is a dramatic increase in support for Harris. But a lot of the polls are still overrepresenting support for Trump, in my opinion. And that has a lot to do with the small sample sizes, sort of the underrepresentativeness of the subsamples in these mainstream polls, and even in some of the statewide polls, as you mentioned, in Georgia and North Carolina. And so the work that I've been doing polling nationally suggests that not only has increased support for Harris grown, but support for Trump has actually dwindled and has dropped. It should be nowhere near 20%. It should be less than 15%, closer to 10, 11, 12% or less in a lot of these polls if they're representative. And so that causes some major issues, especially when you're trying to compare margins. And so a lot of the work is trying to compare how far ahead is Harris now compared to 2020. Well, even if she has similar Black support, if the support for Trump is inflated, it's going to look like that margin isn't quite there yet. And I think she's close, right? I don't think she's quite there yet, but she's far closer than the polls are suggesting right now.
And lay that out because, as you said, they keep staying on this, 20, 22, 25%. And then in every single one of the much larger sampling of black polls that we've had, your polls and Black PAC and so many others, it hasn't topped 15.
Correct. And it's dropped significantly since Harris took the ticket, right? Those 15, 16% numbers were when Biden was the candidate. And we have seen in focus groups there is some appeal for Trump, especially when it comes to young black men, but it's still only about 1 in 5 at most of young black men. And it's like far less than that, closer to 10%, 12% with Harris on the ticket overall when it comes to support for Trump. However, when the polls have really small samples, we're talking about maybe 100, less than 200 people that they survey. There's no way that they can collect enough real solid interviews within that survey to have a confident representative sample, knowing that they have a balance when it comes to age, gender, ideology, party identification, region, if it's even within state, right? Urban, rural, all of those things really need to be taken accounted for in a black sample to make sure that you are covering it. And it's next to impossible to do that when you only have 100, 150 people total that you're talking to.
So much attention again, New York Times, CNN, a bunch of Democrats are losing their minds. And you were like, calm the hell down. This poll has some serious problems.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I've recently been able to get into some of the data that I just collected, data from just the beginning of August, a poll of over 1,100 black voters. I'm not sure if we can put up one of the first slide that I had brought to show some of those results, but this data is unique in that we have recontacted people that we originally interviewed back in April. And so we're not just looking at a new cut of the electorate, we're actually looking at how people's attitudes have changed since April to August with the switch from Biden to Harris on the ticket. And what we've seen is overall, there's a general 10% increase in support for Harris, or those who said they're going to vote for Harris, going from about 62% of the entire electorate up to 72% now. And if you look at among likely voters, you see that we're at almost 85% of likely voters, black voters, saying they're going to vote for Kamala Harris. And that's really approaching, right, those 2020 Biden numbers where he was at 86, 87% of the black vote. We see increases amongst almost every single demographic here, going down, men, women, a dramatic increase in vote share for Harris when it comes to women. Slight increase for young blacks, but we see a dramatic increase again for those who have high school or less education. So she's really pulled people. We see an increase from 53% to 68% amongst those with less high school or less education in support for Harris. And then we also see a dramatic increase amongst independents, over a 15-point increase in support for Harris among independents, and a dramatic increase amongst those who disagree with the Dobbs decision or are focused on abortion, right, have really oppositional views to the Supreme Court's stance on abortion and abortion bans right now. We see almost a 10% increase in support for Harris for people who really strongly disagree with the state of abortion in this country. And so there's some really clear issues here driving that support as well. But again, if you don't have a significant sample and a really strategic and thorough survey to look at these things, you're never going to be able to dissect the intricacies of the black community the way that we really need to.
Matt Barretto posted this on Twitter a couple of days ago. Go to my iPad. He said, yesterday, Emerson Polling released national and state level polling showing Vice President Kamala Harris continuing to make gains, especially among Latinos. If you look at the crosstabs, Latinos are 65.5% for Harris to 34.5% for Trump. That's a plus 31 margin. And one of the things that I said last night is that what she is doing, she's building. She is steadily building. We got to remind people, it was only, July 22nd when Biden dropped out and then she stepped in. So we're talking about somebody who's only been the top of the ticket for barely 45 days. And so she had to build her team, build her trust with those voters. And the trajectory that she is on is showing that she's on path over the next month to potentially get to Obama levels in terms of 2008, or at least 2012.
Yeah, it's absolutely within the realm of potential here for Harris. And I think one other thing I've been harping on, in addition to vote share here, is turnout. And so one thing that is not really looked at when it comes to Black samples in polls, there's really just been this sort of focus on how much Black people support Trump or what the margin is, the Harris-Trump margin compared to 2020. But turnout has been tremendously increased as well since Harris took over the ticket. We're finding similarly across demographic groups, every single demographic group within the Black community has increased in the percent that says they're certain to vote. And again, we've seen dramatic increases amongst those who are high school or less, amongst independents, and especially amongst those who have strong views about abortion rights. And so these are all issues, right? Specifically the abortion issue that Harris needs to continue to speak up on, continue to focus, because it's not only driving her support, but it's driving people out to the polls, getting people off their couches. And to me, that's going to be the key here, right? I don't have much doubt that she's going to get the Black support that she needs. I think it's about turnout and making sure she gets those turnout numbers, especially in battleground states where we saw turnout much higher than the national average in 2020.
My panel, I'm Rob Portillo, host, People, Passion, Politics, News and Talk, 1380 WAOK out of Atlanta. Rebecca Carruthers, Vice President, Fair Election Center out of D.C. Derek L. Jackson, Georgia State Representative, District 68 out of Atlanta. Rebecca, I want to start with you. Again, one of the things we were talking about last night is, again, building momentum. You talked about also Black men. One of the things that they have to have is that targeted message to shore up that Black male support. We're seeing those numbers with young Black women, but really focus on those Black men 18 to 50. That is really going to be crucial. And because I think what Chris has laid out, if you begin to see gains in that area, you definitely are going to see that separation. And I think you're going to see her lead expand in Georgia, North Carolina, and Wisconsin. Go right ahead, Rebecca.
Yeah, so for the Kamala Harris campaign to strengthen her support among the Black electorate, then yes, Black men. And you mentioned 18 to 50, but I would also point out 18 to 39. The reason why that 18 to 39 Black male potential voter demographic is so important is that Susie Wiles, who is the campaign manager for Trump, has made it clear in the press that they are absolutely doing deep outreach to that particular group. One thing that we know about Black folks who are under the age of 45, they're less likely to hold true to a political affiliation. If you just say vote blue no matter who, vote Democratic Party, that's a turnoff. That's not a convincing message for millennials. That also includes millennial women, and that's definitely not a winning message for Gen Z. And so, like I was mentioning last night, a feedback that I'm hearing from Black men across the country is speak directly to us. Like you're speaking to other constituencies, speak directly to us.
Chris, your thoughts on that?
I think that's absolutely right. I think that, turning out and gaining the support of Black men, especially young Black men, can put this election out of reach for Trump, right? If Harris can gain those supporters, the Black population can turn a whole bunch of states, not just these swing states, Georgia. Now we're talking about North Carolina, right? Possibly putting Texas into play, Florida, really making the electoral map out of reach for Trump. I think in addition to speaking directly to them, what we found in focus groups in our own research is that the message needs to not only highlight sort of what Harris can do, because there's a lot of disillusionment amongst younger Black men and apathy. There's alienation from the political system. It's kind of hard. They express a difficulty finding their place. And so Harris also has to continue to highlight Trump's threat to the Black community and specifically to them when it comes to his policies regarding things such as the police and his approach to policing, his approach to incarceration, and to really just the issues that directly could affect young Black men, similar to we saw, right, how the police are treating even celebrity Black men. These are things that she could pull on and relate to the Black community that will strike a chord with young Black men. And so she needs to continue to make Trump the central and in the crosshairs, in addition to trying to speak to them through her policies.
Robert?
King, when we talk about this polling data, I know we often get kind of the national number, then the swing state numbers, but very rarely do we get those swing state numbers broken down by demographics. Particularly, we have 7 swing states that are going to decide this election. Under 200,000 people at the end of the day really are going to decide this election. What are some sources that people can go to find out what the status of the race is, specifically among our communities in those swing states? And me and Roland, we talked about this before, that if you're talking about doing rural radio on Black AM stations throughout the South, that is the things that change elections. But I think if people don't understand what our demographics are and what our numbers are, they don't understand where to invest that money in order to get those ad buys in that can swing the elections in some of these small outlier non-major city counties.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of public data available that offers that type of breakdown, that offers significant samples in those swing states where you can do a close breakdown or a close investigation of the Black community across demographics, across rural urban layouts. There are some surveys. I know Black PAC and a few others have surveys that offer oversamples or have done swing state oversamples. Split Ticket did a swing state survey of Black voters a few months ago. So there's opportunities to look at data like that. We are currently wrapping up an oversample of swing state Black voters as well. We're hoping to have about 700 Black voters across swing states so we can try and break down some of these analyses. But again, most of the actual polls that you're going to get where you get a significant amount of Black voters in a specific state are going to be private polls. They're going to be commissioned by either campaigns or private organizations that are trying to look at that state in particular, because public corporations, public funding just doesn't get put to that use, right? So there's not a lot of that available publicly to go look at. And again, we really just need to continue to push the importance of these things so that we can get more funding to these types of projects, and we can continue to elevate Black voices in communities where they're not necessarily heard, right? Outside of swing states, places like Mississippi, Alabama, that have some of the largest Black populations in the country, but they're hardly ever polled. Their voices are hardly ever highlighted or emphasized in research because the states are red, right? They're not seen as politically viable in national politics, although local politics there can affect these Black communities in some of the most instrumental ways.
Derek?
You know, Chris, I appreciate your analysis, and oftentimes than not, that polls typically reflect those conventional events that takes place with the candidate after a debate, or the messaging that the candidate puts out there, or consultants. But what about those unconventional, these last 7 weeks, we watched this organic swell around Kamala Harris. Will your polls reflect those inorganic events where she's going, for example, here in Georgia, she's going into the rural parts of Georgia. And the last time that has been done was 32 years ago. Will polls reflect that kind of activity that's not often done by candidates?
So I think there's ways to get at that. In our polling, we do some messaging experimentation, and we do different types of polling experiments to try and look at how different messages affect different types of voters and different types of subsets of voters within the Black community. One thing that's unique about this poll is that because we collected one wave prior to Harris joining and one wave after she became the candidate, we have a number of questions that we're digging into that ask about the significance of her taking over the ticket for the Black community, what it means for her to be both potentially the second Black president and the first female president, and then the first, of course, female Black president, and how all of those things play into the relationship between Black voters and their decision to turn out and who they vote for. These are things that are not going to be picked up in typical polls. And so we do have the advantage of sort of looking at that event in the middle of the polling that's been taking place here. It's really hard, though, to catch on and tack on to these little sort of individual campaign events that Harris does. But again, through experimentation, you can ask about some of the themes and some of the messages that she puts forward to different voters and see how that really plays out. And so we'll be able to see, okay, does a message about Harris's policy hit well with rural versus urban voters, or is it really more about messaging about Trump or messaging about the economy, right? What's really going to stick here? And so there's a lot of unique ways to do it. But again, It's just the unfortunate state of things. There's not a lot of polling out there that even tries to look at this, let alone does it in a real sophisticated and rigorous way.
All right, Chris Toller, we surely appreciate it, man. Thank you so very much for joining us. Keep breaking it down for us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right, folks, going to go to break. We come back. We're going to talk about how MAGA is losing its mind after Donald Trump just completely got crushed in last night's debate. Also, we'll talk to a leading official in Miami about the Tyreek Hill detention and what the response there has been. He also speaks out, plus the attorney for the cop put on administrative leave speaks out as well. And again, the top of the hour, we'll have our tribute to Frankie Beverly, who passed away late last night at the age of 77. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Support the work that we do. Join our Bring the Fuck fan club. Your dollars make it possible to do the work that we do. Send your check and money order to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. Cash App, $RM Unfiltered. PayPal, again, PayPal, R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. And of course, download the Black Star Network app, Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. We'll be right back.
Here's a 78-year-old billionaire who has not stopped whining about his problems.
Oh, she had a big crowd. Oh, the crowd.
This weird obsession with crowd sizes. It just goes on and on and on. America's ready for a new chapter. We are ready for a President Kamala Harris.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
He told us who he was.
Should abortion be punished?
There has to be some form of punishment.
Then he showed us.
For 54 years, they were trying to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I did it, and I'm proud to have done it.
Now Donald Trump wants to go further with plans to restrict birth control, ban abortion nationwide, even monitor women's pregnancies. We know who Donald Trump is. He'll take control. We'll pay the price.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
In 2016, Donald Trump said he would choose only the best people to work in his White House. Now those people have a warning for America. Trump is not fit to be president again. Here's his vice president.
Anyone who puts themselves over the Constitution should never be president of the United States. It should come as no surprise that I will not be endorsing Donald Trump this year.
His defense secretary.
Do you think Trump can be trusted with the nation's secrets ever again?
No. I mean, it's just irresponsible action that places our service members at risk, places our nation's security at risk.
His national security advisor.
Donald Trump will cause a lot of damage. The only thing he cares about is Donald Trump.
And the nation's highest-ranking military officer.
We don't take an oath to a king or a queen or to a tyrant or a dictator. And we don't take an oath to a wannabe dictator.
Take it from the people who knew him best. Donald Trump is a danger to our troops and our democracy. We can't let him lead our country again.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
IVF is a miracle for us because it allowed us to have our family. After having my daughter, I wanted more children, but my embryo transfer was canceled 8 days before the procedure. Donald Trump overturning Roe v. Wade stopped us from growing the family that we wanted. I don't want politicians telling me how or when I can have a baby. We need a president that will protect our rights, and that's Kamala Harris.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
The overturning of Roe almost killed me. I had a blood clot in my uterus that caused my labor to have to be induced because of the overturn of Roe v. Wade. I wasn't able to get life-saving treatment sooner. I almost died. And that's because of the decision that Donald Trump made.
I was able to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I'm proud to have done it.
The doctors and nurses were afraid that if they treated me in the incorrect way, that they would be prosecuted for that. And that's appalling. Donald Trump says that women should be punished.
Do you believe in punishment for abortion? There has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah.
I believe that women should have reproductive freedom to make the choices about their own bodies. 4 more years of Donald Trump means that women's rights will continue to be taken away one by one by one by one. This has to stop because women are dying.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Hello, we're the Critter Fixers. I'm Dr. Bernard Hodges.
And I'm Dr. Terrence Ferguson.
And you're tuned in to
Roland Martin Unfiltered.
I told you these MAGA folks are out of their minds. Last night in the debate, Donald Trump actually repeated the lie about Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, eating pets. It just made no sense whatsoever. And again, that's the kind of folks that you are dealing with in this country. They will sit here and make up lies and act as if, oh, it's no big deal, and this is what happened. In fact, so last night after the debate, so check this out, Yamiche El-Sindor, who is of Haitian descent, she actually questioned Republican VP candidate J.D. Vance about his pushing of this lie, and listen to this exchange.
Kamala Harris.
Senator Vance, what do you say to Haitian Americans and Haitian immigrants who say spreading false claims about them put their lives at risk?
Well, I don't think that no one has spread false claims. What they've said is that a small migrant community, 20,000, so it's big for the city of Springfield, but it's small compared to all Haitians in the United States of America, that small migrant community has caused a lot of problems. It's led to higher rates of communicable diseases. That's a verifiable fact. It's led to animals disappearing. Many of my constituents have said that has been happening. It's led to higher home prices. That is a verifiable fact. So this influx has led to a lot of
But you said that immigrants have eaten animals, and city officials have said that that's not true.
City officials have said that's not true. That's not actually accurate. What they said.
The Springfield city manager said there's no evidence that immigrants are eating animals, and you have been saying, and Donald Trump just said on stage that they are eating animals. I'm asking you. Yes, I'm asking you. I'm asking you.
Can you answer
go ahead.
Can you ask the question and then let me answer it?
Yes, please.
The city manager said there's no verifiable evidence. A lot of residents on the ground have said that there is. That just means the city manager, I think, isn't fully in touch with what's going on the ground there. I've heard from many of my own constituents who have seen these things with their own eyes, who have seen these abductions with their own eyes, who have seen geese being taken out of local parks and slaughtered in front of their eyes. What do I think is a bigger problem? Insulting 20,000 people, or the fact that my constituents can't live a good life because Kamala Harris opened the border? I think it's Kamala Harris needs to do her job.
A lot of these Haitian immigrants have moved
and healthier in this country.
A lot of Haitian immigrants.
All right, now this is what Donald Trump said last night in the debate.
Our country is being lost. We're a failing nation, and it happened 3.5 years ago. And what's going on here, you're going to end up in World War III, just to go into another subject. What they have done to our country by allowing these millions and millions of people to come into our country, and look at what's happening to the towns all over the United States. And a lot of towns don't want to talk. It's not going to be Aurora or Springfield. A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame.
Joining us right now is the co-chair of the Haiti Caucus, Congresswoman Sheila Sherflis McCormick, joining us from Florida. And, of course, she's of Haitian descent, Haitian American. Glad to have you here. So Haitians are not happy. Folks are ticked off. So give us a sense. You had Senator J.D. Vance talking about what he's hearing from his constituents. Oh, by the way, those Haitian immigrants are also his constituents. And so what have you been hearing in the last 48 hours?
Well, everybody's been highly upset, and I think not only is it disgusting for him to repeat this negative stereotype that is enveloped in racism, but he knows it's false. Even look at his answer, how he's making up, well, some of my people are reporting this and they're doing that. And I think at the end of the day, it not only upsets Haitian people because we've been fighting these stereotypes for several years, and we've had to actually dispute every single one of them. But it's even worse when it's coming from a vice president, and then you have a president who's saying these things. And it seems like they're fixating on this storyline, right? This fictitious story about Haitian people coming in and eating and stealing your pets, the constant fear mongering. And it seems like they're dedicated to scaring people into voting for them instead of articulating real principles, real policies, anything to give you hope of that your life will be better. And that is sickening. I think another part of it, too, that Haitian people are looking at him sideways is because we're wondering, like, you actually married into an immigrant family. You know how hard it is for immigrants to come to the United States, dedicate themselves to getting an education, work hard to make a life for them, starting from scratch. And for you to come out and make these kind of comments that we always hear, like this kind of rhetoric and dehumanization when it comes to migrants and immigrants, is disgusting because he's actually now part of a family. He even talks about his mother-in-law and how wonderful she is. So where do you draw the line? Is it that you only hate every other migrant, every other immigrant except for yours? Or are you going to be an honest person and say, hey, I need to own up to this? The fact that he's doubling down on it and trying to explain himself is completely ridiculous. That's the part where it's like, you know what? I think you'd be better off just writing books of fantasy and fiction instead of trying to be our vice president of these United States, because clearly he is not qualified.
So here's what I find to be interesting. Go to my iPad. This is from a story on Yahoo. It says some residents feel the city and county are overwhelmed and wish the Haitian population was, quote, evenly dispersed among Ohio counties. Others said Haitians are unfairly scapegoated. And says Tina Rose says she feels negatively about the increased Haitian population in Springfield and that the city was not prepared. Rose said the city already struggled with housing and homelessness before more Haitians moved. Okay, here's the problem with that. PBS did an interview with the CEO of a facility who said, my God, I got 50 Haitian workers here. I wish I had more. He said they show up on time, they work hard, and he said our people don't. Now, everything I've also read is that this town was dying. They lost population. Folks were leaving. The Haitian immigrants is actually reviving the town. So, and see, this is a thing that, again, I laid out in white fear. So you got these white folks in the Midwest. The real deal is they want to keep their white oases. They want to keep their white towns. But they complain about losing jobs. They complain about losing representation. They complain about losing economics because you need people. You are a member of Congress. What people don't understand is every 10 years when the census is reported, if you lose population, you actually lose congressional representation. So what are we seeing? We're seeing states in the South and the Southeast and the West pick up representation, and Midwest, Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, they're losing a representation because the population is drying up. So these folks want to have a better, they want to say, oh, well, we don't want them, but we still want to be thriving. Guess what? You need people to do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And in fact, I'm happy you brought up what the businesses community is saying, because as Haitian people are coming in through the parole program, which is actually a legal pathway that you have to apply for in Haiti to come into the United States, the business people in Ohio have been recruiting them, asking them to come and help their industry, asking them to come and work in their factories. And we have to be honest about the dynamic. The Haitian people who are coming in through the program, the parole program, humanitarian parole, they are actually the best people in Haiti. So you have doctors who are applying and have to show that they have a bank account, who have to show that they are educated, they have something to lose, who are coming in, and as they're waiting to pass their exams, as they're waiting to pass their boards in the United States, guess what? They're working at a factory as they're waiting because they have to keep a roof over their head. And we even see a brain drain in Haiti because the best of Haitian people are coming here. So to say that the people who are coming from Haiti, who are educated, who are the best, who actually got working papers, who've gone through so much scrutiny to get into the United States legally, are coming into the United States legally and wanting to do illegal acts as far as kidnapping a pet, doesn't make sense. Why would someone who's educated, who went through so much scrutiny to get into the United States, who now is working and waiting for an application or a different job, why would they take the risk of kidnapping a dog? We don't eat dogs. I can tell you, I've never had a dog in my life. We're Haitian, we don't have dogs. So why would we want to do this now? And that goes back to the stereotype. They want to dehumanize every migrant who's coming in. And right now, the migrant of the day are Black migrants. And who would they like to choose? Haitian people. We are the enemy of the state now. Now be scared, hold your children back, because you know what? These Black migrants are coming to terrorize you. And that's what the Republican Party does. This is the problem.
So that point that they made there about evenly dispersed, Let me go back to my days when I covered City Hall in Fort Worth. I remember when they were talking about having a dispersed housing plan when it came to Section 8. And in this particular program were people who actually graduated to go to the next level. All these white folks came down to City Hall losing their mind. And so what did they do? They yelled the usual racist stuff, but they didn't want to actually, didn't actually want to use race. So here's what they did. They yelled about, oh, crime is going to increase. Oh, property values are going to decrease because of these Section 8 housing. And what was interesting, I went to Austin where they had dispersed housing, and I went to the neighborhood. The neighbors didn't even know that the people next door had Section 8 vouchers. They had no idea. So what these white folks do is, so when you hear them say we should be dispersing people across different areas, what they're trying to say is, can y'all get these Negroes out of our area? And so what they're saying is, well, let's not have 20,000 Haitians in Springfield, Ohio. Can't we just keep it like 1,000 and y'all send 1,000 here? So they want to break up the Haitian community and spread them all around Ohio. We know what that game is. We've seen it all before.
Absolutely. I mean, the truth is, if they were working hard to recruit the Haitian migrants to come and work, then they wouldn't go there. They would prefer to come into communities like myself in Broward and Palm Beach and in Miami and Florida, where you have a larger Haitian community. They would prefer, but they were actually being recruited to go and help out these areas. And they're just doing what they came here to do, which is to work. And all these storytelling, they're saying that Haitian people are going to drain the resources, they're going to do this, and they want to get on welfare. It's absolutely false. I can tell you, in Haitian culture, in Haiti, there is no system of government assistance. Haitian people don't even understand that. Either you work to survive or you don't work and you don't eat. That's what we know, and that's our culture. So the first thing we're going to do when we come to the United States is work. But once again, we go back to the same rhetoric. This is the same playbook we hear all the time. Every election, there's a new demon on the plate. There's somebody for you to be scared of. And guess what? It's always a black person. And this election, Donald Trump is fixating on Haitian people and black people. Despite the facts, despite the truth, we are the enemy of the day, and that's what they're going to go for. But the surprise is that there's 1.2 million Haitian Americans in the United States who are active voters. And in addition to that, you have our children who are actually active voters. And we are now going to turn out in droves to make sure that he feels the pressure and the fury of the Haitian community by not voting for him. So he's actually doing us a favor. Some Haitians do lean to be Republican, but after this stunt, I cannot believe that not one person would lean to be Republican.
Well, I absolutely hope that the campaign of Vice President Kamala Harris is leaning into this. Again, some 400,000 Haitians there in Florida. That could be the difference when it comes to this election. And yeah, we see exactly how they feel, and they're doubling down. So, Congresswoman, we certainly appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Look, this is pure racism, Derek, that we're actually seeing come from the Trump folks. But this is par for the course. This is how they operate.
You know, Roland, I think this is part of their playbook, the playbook of Project 2025. They're going to continue to use immigration as a way to say they're taking your jobs, or they're going to bring crime, or they're the other. They're not like us. And so when you think about the case that they're trying to build, Project 2025 continues to say that if they're in power, they're going to deport 18 to 20 million immigrants. And so what better way for them to say during a national stage, as Trump did last night, that here's another case of the other, because this is the ones who we need to get out of this country. They're just falling in accordance with their playbook, Project 2025.
And look, Robert, I laid this out in my book, White Fear. And guess what? All of these mainstream networks, other than a couple of shows at MSNBC, didn't book me, didn't want to talk about it, and it's playing out. And I'm like, y'all, it's here. This is absolute white fear. They are scared to death. Oh, my God, they're taking over our town. Hey, it ain't our fault. Y'all stop screwing. It ain't our fault. Y'all stop having kids. And so your population is going to, it's just a fact. The average white death rate in states in America is about 12 to 15, is higher than the average white birth rate. They listen to Tucker Carlson, oh, great replacement theory. It's not a great replacement theory. Y'all are replacing yourselves because y'all ain't having kids. And this is also why conservatives are so hardcore against Roe v. Wade, because it's also about procreation.
Look, Roland, as your resident Haitian American, I admit it. It was me. I ate all the cats and dogs. I just fly out there every weekend. I can't help myself. It's just part of what this is.
And I'm sure you shot it first with your AR-15.
No. You're going to mess with the meat if you do it that way. Look, Roland, the fact that we are having this conversation in America in the year 2024 is ridiculous. We'll tell a quick story that when I was about 10 was when the Haitian boat crisis was taking place, where you had Haitians trying to escape a dictator, trying to come to America, but because of the U.S. policy for Cubans versus Haitians, they're being turned back away in the sea. And the entire conversation when I was in elementary school at the time was, well, did your family come here floating on a raft? Did you get inner tube here? I heard your people eat dirt, etc. That was in the 1990s. It is 30 years later, and we are still dealing in these same stereotypes. We're still dealing in these same lies. We're still dealing in this same rhetoric that's taking place. And the reason that this rhetoric is so pernicious is very clear what they're doing. You attack affirmative action. You attack higher education. You attack DEI. You attack education in Black history. You take jobs away from African Americans. At the same time, you deport 20 million people who are working in the service industries. Where are you going to move those African Americans when you get rid of 50,000 jobs in the government under Project 2025? You're going to be pushing Black folks back into the field in order to fill those positions. I was with the Congresswoman earlier this week at African Diaspora Day at the Capitol, along with the Sultan of Sudan and Congressman Jonathan Jackson. There's going to be a big panel at CBC on Friday at 1 p.m. that I want people to attend, talking about the needs of African Americans to connect with the other members of the African diaspora and understand that what the strength that we have is when African Americans, Afro-Caribbeans, and people on the continent are able to work together for trade, for education, for uplift. Because once we do that, we can take over this conversation about who we are, what we are, where we came from, and ensure that when someone makes a statement like this, we have the political, economic, and social power to ensure that there are consequences for it. There's a reason they don't say stuff like this about other communities, because they understand the consequences that will take place. If Haitian American voters cost President Trump the state of Florida and therefore the presidency, maybe they will finally understand that we're not just their punching bag in politics.
Rebecca.
You know, it's very telling listening to J.D. Vance as he's talking about these 20,000 Haitian immigrants. And mind you, so many of these people are actually Haitian Americans now and are working through naturalization, right? But what's really telling is he's talking about, oh, well, you know, this is a problem for my constituents. But aren't those 20,000 people also his constituents? So you even see that further othering. He doesn't even recognize those folks as people who are worthy for him to represent in that particular community. The other thing is, look, everybody got a phone. There's cameras on it. You can record stuff. So where are the photos? Where are the pictures? Where is the evidence of all of these people allegedly stealing animals and cooking animals and having barbecues in the park with cats and dogs? It simply isn't happening. If it was, there would be photographic evidence.
Absolutely right. All right, folks, hold tight 1 second. We come back. We're going to talk about what's happening in Miami. The Tyreek Hill arrest still is drawing lots of attention. But what will Miami do? We'll talk with the official about that. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
He told us who he was.
Should abortion be punished? There has to be some form of punishment.
Then he showed us.
For 54 years, they were trying to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I did it, and I'm proud to have done it.
Now Donald Trump wants to go further with plans to restrict birth control, ban abortion nationwide, even monitor women's pregnancies. We know who Donald Trump is. He'll take control. We'll pay the price.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
In 2016, Donald Trump said he would choose only the best people to work in his White House. Now those people have a warning for America. Trump is not fit to be president again. Here's his vice president.
Anyone who puts themselves over the Constitution should never be president of the United States. It should come as no surprise that I will not be endorsing Donald Trump this year.
His defense secretary.
Do you think Trump can be trusted with the nation's secrets ever again?
No. I mean, it's just irresponsible action that places our service members at risk, places our nation's security at risk.
His national security advisor.
Donald Trump will cause a lot of damage. The only thing he cares about is Donald Trump.
And the nation's highest-ranking military officer.
We don't take an oath to a king or a queen or to a tyrant or a dictator. And we don't take an oath to a wannabe dictator.
Take it from the people who knew him best. Donald Trump is a danger to our troops and our democracy. We can't let him lead our country again.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
IVF is a miracle for us because it allowed us to have our family. After having my daughter, I wanted more children, but my embryo transfer was canceled 8 days before the procedure. Donald Trump overturning Roe v. Wade stopped us from growing the family that we wanted. I don't want politicians telling me how or when I can have a baby. We need a president that will protect our rights, and that's Kamala Harris.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
The overturning of Roe almost killed me. I had a blood clot in my uterus that caused my labor to have to be induced because of the overturn of Roe v. Wade. I wasn't able to get life-saving treatment sooner. I almost died. And that's because of the decision that Donald Trump made.
I was able to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I'm proud to have done it.
The doctors and nurses were afraid that if they treated me in the incorrect way, that they would be prosecuted for that. And that's appalling. Donald Trump says that women should be punished.
Do you believe in punishment for abortion? There has to be some form of punishment. For the woman? Yeah.
I believe that women should have reproductive freedom to make the choices about their own bodies. 4 more years of Donald Trump means that women's rights will continue to be taken away one by one by one by one. This has to stop because women are dying.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Here's a 78-year-old billionaire who has not stopped whining about his problems.
Oh, she had a big crowd. Oh, the crowd.
This weird obsession with crowd sizes. It just goes on and on and on. America's ready for a new chapter. We are ready for a President Kamala Harris.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Devon Franklin. It is always a pleasure to be in the house. You are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered. Stay right here.
Folks, the detention of Tyreek Hill continues to cause lots of conversation across the country. Today, he gave an interview where he said, you know what, he could have handled the situation better. But the reality is the onus should have been on those cops. Rodney Jacobs is the executive director of the City of Miami's Civilian Investigative Panel. He joins us right now. Rodney, glad to have you on the show. Let's be real, Rodney. Florida has handcuffed groups like yours. They don't want civilian panels investigating cops because Republicans want them to operate with impunity.
And that's pretty much the case of it. Right now in the state of Florida, we're fighting tooth and nail to keep police accountability and police oversight at the forefront of everyone's mind because due to laws from Ron DeSantis and others here at the local level, they're looking to dismantle our oversight powers.
And so when you look at this here, you already, what was interesting, how the police union immediately tried to come out and try to form the narrative. And guess what we found out? The cop that put on administrative duty sits on the board of the police union.
Yeah. I mean, listen, that's par for the course here in the state of Florida. You know, we have some of the strongest police law enforcement officers, Bill of Rights, to include some of the strongest unions as well. One of the things that I first saw when this footage was released is that you have an officer who's a part of the bike patrol and who's also working a very posh off-duty job here at the stadium. So, you know, you just don't get that job by being on the force for 1 or 2 days. You have to have some pull, for lack of better words. And that's what we've seen here here as of late as well, not only in Tyreek Hill's situation, but also in numerous others across the state.
You know, Tyreek Hill gave an interview where he said, you know what, he could have handled the situation better. And you have a lot of the people criticizing him, saying, how he acted. He should have kept the window down, things along those lines. But the reality is he complied. This whole notion that you are managing one's attitudes and behavior, you can yell at a cop, but the point of the cops, they are to de-escalate, and they didn't.
Correct. You know, I mean, I appreciate Tyreek's statement, but let's be honest, to your point, it's not illegal to be rude to a cop. It's not illegal to roll your window up towards a cop. But there is a very high standard to be a police officer. You know, we really try to empower our officers here at the city of Miami that even with adequate provocation, you are to remain courteous. Even when someone's being officious, you are to remain respectful. And we do that because we understand that even the smallest of mistakes with police officers can have catastrophic consequences. And so, yes, if you are not fit to be an officer, we would like to invite you to another place of employment. And that's okay. I think far too often we look at removing police officers from their badge or from these jobs as some sort of death sentence, when all we're really saying is that, listen, you're not good at being a police officer. I'm not good at being an open heart surgeon, Roland, so you should not allow me to do that. And there's a litany of other police officers that are wearing the badge that probably should be doing other work. But instead, police unions and others fight tooth and nail to deny and defend these actions, and it's unconscionable.
Questions from the panel. Robert, you first.
Well, on this point, what exactly could be done to these officers? We are seeing that there's, of course, where there's a police brutality case that resulted in a fatal shooting, there's lawsuits that can take place. But what types of punishments can take place, or what types of measures can be taking place to prevent this from happening again in the future?
Well, the first and foremost thing that we need to do is at least understand how do you remove a police officer in the state of Florida. And I can tell you that extremely difficult due to the laws here. At the very least, and I know people are calling for this officer to be removed or taken away, I can tell you that that won't happen. The laws are just too strong. And unless, the state attorney intervenes or decides to charge this officer for some sort of battery and assault, that won't happen as well. So what it really comes down to is some internal at the very least. And that's why we have so many supporters for the work that we do, because as Tyreek mentioned, if he wasn't Tyreek Hill, what would have happened? Well, I have around 400 to 500 cases that I could tell you each and every day or every year that people come to our office to utilize these services for these exact reasons. So long story short, a lot won't happen with this officer. He may get some on-duty training, or he may get a couple hours restricted here or there because of the outcry, but not much thereafter. And what's more, at least in Miami-Dade County, we're looking into a sheriff's election. So the person that may be potentially giving some discipline here won't even be in office 2 months from now.
Derek.
Rodney, can you share?
Lord.
Derek, go.
Rodney, can you share with us if Project 2025 was in place? In there, I read that law enforcement will have sovereign immunity. Can you share with this audience something like that, how dangerous it would create this kind of climate that's already in existence?
Yeah. Well, listen, I think everyone needs to understand that Florida is the litmus test for 2025. A lot of the things that you guys are reading in there, seeing in there, have already been trialed run here in the state of Florida. So when I tell you that Florida has some of the strongest laws to protect law enforcement officers that are involved in misconduct to keep their jobs, I mean it. And what you're seeing here in sovereign immunity is an extension of what we already feel here in the state of Florida. And in fact, to even take it a step further, not only does it make it harder to charge police officers for on-duty crimes and offenses, but in the event you do get to some level, there is a provision within our own law enforcement officers' Bill of Rights that says that before a police officer even makes a statement, it is allowed for them to view and read all evidence against them before they even make a statement. So when we talk about sovereign immunity, even qualified immunity to that matter, not only are we giving them the mechanism to get out of accountability, but we're also doing something more sinister, and that's taking away the consequence to change behavior. One thing that is certain in America is that if you want to change someone's actions or behavior, there needs to be some level of consequence to that to incentivize that action. But here in the state of Florida, at least as it relates to police officers, there is less and less of that accountability. Obviously, cities indemnify to 5 police officers. So that way, if there is some sort of monetary damage, that city is paying that. And obviously, we can see here in this instance, there's going to be little to no accountability as well. So whether it be qualified immunity in courts, sovereign immunity, indemnification, you name it, there's not a lot of behavior changes that's going to be happening due to the lack of accountability and consequences.
Rebecca.
I work with a lot of young people across the country, and many of them really don't connect viscerally to the civil rights movement out of the 60s. But I am seeing that young people care about the policing issues that are happening. How do we get them to understand that this is the current civil rights issue for their generation?
I think it's
I think Rodney froze. Let's see if we can get Rodney back. He completely froze there. So if we can get him back to answer this final question, be absolutely great. As I said, Tyreek Hill talked today and said that he wished he could have been better in terms of how he behaved. But I'm sorry, he didn't need to be. I mean, we could play this whole PR game. The cops' action in this case was abysmal. That's what it was. It was abysmal. They are the ones who need to have their attitudes checked. They are the ones who need to say they need to act better. And their job was to de-escalate, and that's not what they did. And unfortunately, we see this far too often in terms of how they operate. We did not get Rodney back, so we lost the signal there. So we will definitely talk to him again. Let me thank Rebecca. Let me thank Derek. And let me thank Robert as well for being on this show. It was a shortened version of the show because we have next our tribute to Frankie Beverly, who passed away last night at the age of 77. Lots of folks lined up to share their thoughts about Frankie Beverly, and that will be next. After this break, you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Support the work that we do. Join the Brina Funk Fan Club. Send your check and money order to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. We'll be right back.
He told us who he was.
Should abortion be punished? There has to be some form of punishment.
Then he showed us.
For 54 years, they were trying to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I did it, and I'm proud to have done it.
Now Donald Trump wants to go further with plans to restrict birth control, ban abortion nationwide, even monitor women's pregnancies. We know who Donald Trump is. He'll take control. We'll pay the price.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
In 2016, Donald Trump said he would choose only the best people to work in his White House. Now those people have a warning for America. Trump is not fit to be president again. Here's his vice president.
Anyone who puts themselves over the Constitution should never be president of the United States. It should come as no surprise that I will not be endorsing Donald Trump this year.
His defense secretary.
Do you think Trump can be trusted with the nation's secrets ever again?
No. I mean, it's just irresponsible action that places our service members at risk, places our nation's security at risk.
His national security advisor.
Donald Trump will cause a lot of damage. The only thing he cares about is Donald Trump.
And the nation's highest-ranking military officer.
We don't take an oath to a king or a queen or to a tyrant or a dictator. And we don't take an oath to a wannabe dictator.
Take it from the people who knew him best. Donald Trump is a danger to our troops and our democracy. We can't let him lead our country again.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
IVF is a miracle for us because it allowed us to have our family. After having my daughter, I wanted more children, but my embryo transfer was canceled 8 days before the procedure. Donald Trump overturning Roe v. Wade stopped us from growing the family that we wanted. I don't want politicians telling me how or when I can have a baby. We need a president that will protect our rights, and that's Kamala Harris.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
The overturning of Roe almost killed me. I had a blood clot in my uterus that caused my labor to have to be induced because of the overturn of Roe v. Wade. I wasn't able to get life-saving treatment sooner. I almost died. And that's because of the decision that Donald Trump made.
I was able to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I'm proud to have done it.
The doctors and nurses were afraid that if they treated me in the incorrect way, that they would be prosecuted for that. and that's appalling. Donald Trump says that women should be punished.
Do you believe in punishment for abortion? There has to be some form of punishment for the woman. Yeah.
I believe that women should have reproductive freedom to make the choices about their own bodies. 4 more years of Donald Trump means that women's rights will continue to be taken away one by one by one by one. This has to stop because women are dying.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Here's a 78-year-old billionaire who has not stopped whining about his problems.
Oh, she had a big crowd. Oh, the crowd.
This weird obsession with crowd sizes. It just goes on and on and on. America's ready for a new chapter. We are ready for a President Kamala Harris.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Farquhar, executive producer, Proud Family. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
People have been reacting all day to the news regarding the passing of Frankie Beverly. He passed away last night at the age of 77. This, of course, is some video that I shot of Frankie when he was performing the Tom Joyner Morning Show cruise. He often performed on that cruise on numerous occasions and always packed the crowds, always the audience wearing white. And so many people have been commenting all across the country, all across social media about their Frankie Beverly moments, talking about their iconic opportunities with him, and of course, seeing him, experiencing him in concert. And so joining us right now, a couple of people to share their thoughts. Kenny Lattimore, Grammy-nominated singer and songwriter, and also Shelby J, singer. Glad to have both of you here on the show. Let me start with you, Kenny, because Frankie Beverly, for so many years, that silky smooth voice, backed by the band. And here's the whole deal. Frankie, when you're the Frankie didn't work the whole stage. Frankie didn't, I mean, it was like they shortened that stage. They gonna work from point to point. He wasn't hopping around, running around. They were like, we gonna sing the same set every time, and the joint is gonna be packed, and they gonna dance their butts off.
Yep. And they had that one moment when they and stop and freeze, and it would turn the place out. But what an icon, what an honor it was to know him. I was able to give him his Lifetime Achievement Award for the NAACP Image Awards this past year. Kudos to everybody that chose to honor him and put together the farewell tour. I never thought that he got all of the accolades that he deserved, and the way that we think about how he's impacted our culture. When you went to a Frankie Beverly and Mays concert, it united people. It united Black folks in general in a way that no other artist did. When we got together to sing and dance, and it was like a family reunion every time we saw him.
Shelby J, you spent a lot of time with Prince, and I dare say this here. There are only 2 acts. I can't think of anybody else, 2 acts that will dictate what people wear. Prince, purple, and Frankie Beverly and Mays in white. I don't care if Mays came to town, there was no white linen in the city.
Yes, all of them. I got mine on tonight to honor him. Yes, absolutely. You talk about the soundtrack of a culture. You talk about the master, okay? The master of a culture. A personal memory of mine, I remember when I worked in New York City back in the Sylvia days, and he was coming to town. I think it was a BLS event, and everybody wanted to go to the show. I got there. I was on the side of the stage, and I think at sound check, he was on the drums. I didn't even know he played drums. I had no idea. But the crowd, just the energy, the love that came out of this man, you could feel it. He made music that you could feel, and it wasn't about him. And as an artist, that is key. And Prince talked about that a lot too. It is key. It's not about us. It's about the people in the audience and how we want to make them feel, how they're going to come in one way and how they're going to leave another way. And he did that. And his music will continue to do that for decades and decades and centuries. And it's just, we're lucky to have been, on earth at the same time as a Frankie Beverly and Maze. And his band was tight.
Oh, yeah.
Tight.
Yeah, and in fact, we're going to be talking to some of the former members of the band shortly, including the last living founder, Rome. So this is a perfect example. So this is for the Tom Joyner cruise right here. And this was in one of the theaters. And yeah, it was, you see how it is. So this was the cruise. This was the Superdome. This was any place to perform. But the thing, Kenny, that, I asked this question for a decade to people. What was it? What was it about Frankie Beverly and Maze? And everybody had different reactions. Mm-hmm. And so the music, we can go through groups. We can talk about the Commodores. We can talk about Earth, Wind, and Fire, the OJs, folks who had hits, folks who were in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. But this Frankie Beverly Maze was totally different than anybody else.
The sound was organic. So it was something about it that when you got together, it wasn't overproduced. It was musical. It was excellent. And that's why it lasts from generation to generation. When you get Beyonce covering you, but still people play his. Yes. You know what I'm saying? If they play a little Beyonce, they're going to be like, no, but we still got to play Frankie's. You know that you've done something that is timeless. And he was just that kind of music maker.
There was a moment during the set where he would play. So go ahead and go full screen. This is a little bit of it right here when Frankie would get behind them. Y'all hear? Turn it up. Okay. All right, so do this here, y'all. So I don't care about the audio being overmodulated. There was a moment where in one of the songs, do-do-do-do-do, so that was the key. And see, that's the other thing, Shelby. The audience knew the song that was next based upon what the band played.
Right. Exactly. And they were ready for it. They were ready for it. When I end my show, I did when I played at Paisley Park for the celebration. And one thing Prince will talk about with covers is, a hit is a hit. And they've already made it a hit. So you want to pick a song that's going to get them right from the beginning. And so with my songs, I would put together a show, and I would end. I said, I gotta end with Before I Let Go. And as soon as that da 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 da, whoa, everybody starts singing, and the energy shifts, and that is forever. And it's just that joy. That's the one word people ask me when I found out last night, because it was my birthday yesterday, and I found out last night, and I was like, just joy. His music is joy. Yep. His message is joy. The way he loved his family, the way he loved music. I watched the thing and he was talking about singing on the corner of the street in Philly and listening to Frankie Lyman, and just he loved music and he loved people and he wanted people to come together. And that's what good music does. Good music brings people together. Good music is timeless. It ain't milk. It don't expire. Good music is forever. And that's what kind of music he made.
Oh, and right there, Kenny, and the thing is, you have intergenerational. And so, again, when you look at this video right here, you had grandmother, grandfather, mom and daddy, sons, daughters, nieces, nephews. That was the other thing in terms of the generations that were in there.
He's doing the classic thing. He's singing about love.
Yes.
And love is also timeless to go with it. So Frankie represented us well. He did it with such style. His personal style translated to all those generations still. I'm just, again, so happy that he was honored well. He's a great person, like Shelby mentioned. I just have sat at his feet so he could tell me stories about Marvin Gaye, too, and just different things where he loved what he did.
Mm-hmm.
And he understood that music took him on this journey, and he was very grateful of that. So, again, a life well lived.
Yes.
A person who's given so much to so many people. We cherish him forever.
Yes, yes. 2 words, Southern girl. Come on now.
Well, and so that's the reason I shot this video the way I did, because I really wanted a really tight, guys, go to the video. I really wanted that tight. Frankie was so emotional when he sang. And he also, Shelby J, when I say emotional, Frankie cried all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, he cried on stage. He was always moved by the love of the audience. He was always touched by the love they gave him and the band.
Yes, because he was a vessel. And when you are a true vessel, you can tell the difference when you see that. It comes through you. You're a conduit of that energy. You're a conduit. You're the vessel that the message and the energy is coming through. And he could feel all of that and get it out to the audience. And he felt that. You could see the tears, you could see the emotion, and it was real. It was really real, and you could feel it. It came from the heart, so it went to the heart.
That's so important what you're saying, Shelby. It was a spiritual thing.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just like, oh, we just went to a concert and we saw somebody put on a show.
Yeah.
There was a real spiritual connection between his lyrics, between the music itself, between him and the way that he delivered. Absolutely.
Yes.
Indeed, indeed. Kenny Lattimore, Shelby J, I appreciate y'all joining us to share your thoughts about the passing of the great Frankie Beverly. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Folks, going to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to hear from other individuals who knew Frankie well and who will share their thoughts about his life and legacy. Folks, you're watching this tribute to Frankie Beverly right here on the Black Star Network. Back in a moment.
In 2016, Donald Trump said he would choose only the best people to work in his White House. Now those people have a warning for America. Trump is not fit to be president again. Here's his vice president.
Anyone who puts himself over the Constitution should never be president of the United States. It should come as no surprise that I will not be endorsing Donald Trump this year.
His defense secretary.
Do you think Trump can be trusted with the nation's secrets ever again?
No. I mean, it's just irresponsible action that places our service members at risk, places our nation's security at risk.
His national security advisor.
Donald Trump will cause a lot of damage. The only thing he cares about is Donald Trump.
And the nation's highest-ranking military officer.
We don't take an oath to a king or a queen or to a tyrant or a dictator. And we don't take an oath to a wannabe dictator.
Take it from the people who knew him best. Donald Trump is a danger to our troops and our democracy. We can't let him lead our country again.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
IVF is a miracle for us because it allowed us to have our family. After having my daughter, I wanted more children, but my embryo transfer was canceled 8 days before the procedure. Donald Trump overturning Roe v. Wade stopped us from growing the family that we wanted. I don't want politicians telling me how or when I can have a baby. We need a president that will protect our rights, and that's Kamala Harris.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
The overturning of Roe almost killed me. I had a blood clot in my uterus that caused my labor to have to be induced because of the overturn of Roe v. Wade. I wasn't able to get life-saving treatment sooner. I almost died. And that's because of the decision that Donald Trump made.
I was able to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I'm proud to have done it.
The doctors and nurses were afraid that if they treated me in the incorrect way, that they would be prosecuted for that. And that's appalling. Donald Trump says that women should be punished.
Do you believe in punishment for abortion? There has to be some form of punishment. For the woman? Yeah.
I believe that women should have reproductive freedom to make the choices about their own bodies. 4 more years of Donald Trump means that women's rights will continue to be taken away one by one by one by one. This has to stop because women are dying.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Here's a 78-year-old billionaire who has not stopped whining about his problems.
Oh, she had a big crowd. Oh, the crowd.
This weird obsession with crowd sizes. It just goes on and on and on. America's ready for a new chapter. We are ready for a President Kamala Harris.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Me, Sherry Shepard, and you know what you're watching, Roland Martin, Unfiltered.
Folks, welcome back to our special coverage of the passing of Frankie Beverly. Gerald Albright, who dedicated a song on one of his albums to Frankie Beverly and Mays, sent us this video.
Hey everyone, Gerald Albright here. I lost my friend. Frankie Beverly was a dear friend of mine and known him for many, many years. I just loved and appreciated his music, the positive energy within his music, the genuine nature within his music. I love the man himself. One of the kindest guys I've ever met, one of the most unique voices of our time. He will be greatly missed. I'm glad I had a chance to perform some music with him over the years. And even in my live shows today, I do the song Before I Let Go, which has been a staple in my set list for many, many years. And it's a song that we have to do because it's just a party song of the century. But thank you, Frankie, for everything that you've given us. You've taken us through some great times, some hard times with your songs, and you were here for a purpose, and you fulfilled that purpose. Job well done. On behalf of the Albright family, I'd like to give condolences and prayers, and we're praying for your understanding in this season. God bless.
All right, folks, our next guest, they knew Frankie Beverly very, very well. Long time members of Mays, and one of them is the last living founder of Mays. So joining us right now is Rome. Rome, glad to see you there. Rome, of course, he plays the congos and is also on vocals. Also, Calvin Napper on drums and Jubu lead guitars. Is everyone is here? And also Chris Walker, who is a vocalist, and of course they also now make up the band TMF. Again, it is, first of all, condolences to every single one of you. Rome, I want to start with you because y'all go back 50 years, brother. That's a long,
55
time.
years. 55 years.
55 years. Take us to the beginning. How did y'all meet?
Well, it's a beautiful story. I met Frank in 1969. My brother was going to a boarding school, and the bass player was attending the school, and he used to tell me when I'm not in school, I play with this band, which were the Butlers. And we had people come and check them out. And at that time, I was the jazz head. I played the flute. So I went to see him and sat in. And Of course, the flute wasn't required in the music they were doing because it was pretty much doo-wop. Uh, and, you know, people have angels that God puts in their lives. And Frank, to me, was an angel because he could have easily said, "Hey, man, nice to meet you," and never see me again. This man, because, you know, when you meet people and it's such a beautiful vibe that you get from them and you connect right away. And we did that, and he asked me, he said, "Hey, man, I don't need a flute, but what else can you play?" And I said, "I play congas and I can sing." And the rest is history. If it wasn't for him, I would still be in Philly. So again, Frank was a definite angel in my life. And I love him and always will love him for it. And he'll be missed, but never forgotten.
Jubu, how did you guys connect? In fact, I'm gonna do this here. You go ahead and talk. 'Cause I'm actually setting up here. I wanted to show folks. This is I got tons of photos and video, you guys, and this is a photo, of course, you guys in action, and Frankie's looking. Go to my iPad, guys. Come on. This is Frankie looking the direction. You there on the Congos. And you guys performing somewhere. I shot this somewhere. But Jubu, give us how did it begin with you and Frankie Beverly?
Frankie, I think Rome was the first one to tell Frankie about me, and he was looking for another guitar player. And I had met Rome a few years earlier, and me and Rome we just hit it off so well, man. And I had always been a fan, and this was in 2000 because I was still playing with Miss Whitney Houston, rest in peace. And he called me. I didn't know how he got my number. I thought someone was pranking me, and I ended up hanging up in his face. I did, man. I'm not proud of that, but I hung up in his face because the voice I heard was, "Hey, what's up, man? This is Frankie B." So I thought it was either a radio station prank or something. I just wasn't in the mood for it at the time. And so he called me back and he said, "No, man, don't hang up. Carl Wheeler gave me your number." And when he mentioned Carl Wheeler, then I put two and two together, and so I apologized immensely to him right then, man. I'm so sorry about that. And he said, "No, that's fine, man." He said, "I want to know if you have eyes for the band." And I didn't understand what that meant. So the whole conversation, I was like, "This dude is like an alien." But what drew me to him was that he was the first major artist that I ever worked with that called me themselves. It was always a management or some type of liaison, you know. And when he said, "No, man, I want to know," he said, "I've been checking you out. I like what you're doing, and I want to know if I can fly you up, and me and you can sit down and talk." And I was like, "Man, he just wants to fly me up." So I said, "Yeah," and he said, "Well, give me your information." And I gave him my flight information, and I'm doing I've never done this with the artist, so it was tripping my head out. And I think 2 days later, he flew me up, and we went and sat down in his house, and I played him a cassette of me playing with Rasan Patterson. That's how long ago this was. It was a cassette, and he listened to about 3 minutes of it, and he said, "Hey, man, if you down, we down." You know, and I said, "Okay, yeah, I'm down, man. I love the music," and that started a 23-year musicianship friendship that continued until last night. And as devastated as I am, it's been a long day, man. And as devastated as I am, we have the memories. You know, they can't take the memories from us. I owe him a lot as far as even my musical journey, the passion that I'm developing, even through the hardships that I'm going through. I owe a lot to him, and I'm just grateful for the time that I spent with him,
Calvin,
and the rest of the guys.
Calvin, your story.
Yes, sir. So My connection with Frankie Beverly and Mays was through, just like you said, was through Carl Wheeler. I was actually, I was playing drums with Stephanie Mills back in 2010, and we were opening for for Mays featuring Frankie Beverly at the Pier 6. And so Carl saw me standing off to the side of the stage, and he sent his tech over to tell me to make sure that he got my number if I left, before they finished. And I was like, no, man, I'm gonna be here, blah, 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 whatever. So one thing led to another. Carl and I talked after the, Mays performance, and I ended up going to San Francisco, to the Bay Area, for an audition. And I was told prior to getting there that, you may want to prepare to stay, for an extra day. If Frank digs you, he's going to want to keep you around. I was like, okay, cool. So, and that's what happened. I got out there, man, got to, kicking it, play some grooves with the guys, and they kept me over an extra day, and the rest was history. I was there from, that was in August of 2010. First show was in September 2010 up until May of last year. So that was my connection with Mays.
Mays, you are a longtime vocalist, and you got gold standards in terms of people who know how to work the crowd, who have an intimate understanding with that audience, and that absolutely was Frankie Beverly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
And Roland, and that was the last thing to go. That was the very last thing to go, was that command of the stage, what we call swagger. Even as the voice waned and he wasn't able to play the instruments like he did in the past, because what people didn't know about Frankie Beverly, he's one of the most underrated rhythm guitar players in R&B history, and I would really put him right up under Nile Rodgers, and people would know that as far as a rhythm guitarist. Frank was absolutely amazing. And then, during my time there, I saw those things slowly start to wane and everything, where even I was privy to go to the very, very last performance that he did. I just happened to be in the Bay Area visiting my mom, and he was playing there. And once again, that was the very last thing he had. He had total command of that stage, man. Even though he was frail, he was he was declining, but that never left, man. That swagger never left.
Chris, go ahead.
Well, I didn't, of course, work with Mays directly, but my association was I started with Regina Bell in one of her first tours. I was her musical director, and we opened for Frankie and Mays for a little over a year. And I was singing a duet in the show with her, and oftentimes, it's okay. And oftentimes, I would look to the side stage, and Frankie would be standing there listening. And on a number of occasions, he came up to me and he said, "Young man, you have a great voice. Keep doing what you're doing. One day you're going to make it." So, he was very encouraging, and I was 19 years old at the time. So from him sowing those seeds into my life at such an early age, I'm able to do what I'm doing now because it really encouraged me and gave me confidence as a vocalist.
Rome, when you're on the road, there's always a lot you're doing. There's always a lot that you're involved in. Just give me a sense of just some of the wild, funny, hilarious. Because people see Frankie as Mr. Smooth, Mr. Relaxed, Mr. Chill, but he also was a taskmaster.
Yeah. 1,000%. 1,000%.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
and in fact, while you're talking, I'm pulling up this video here. While you're gonna be talking, I went to the show in St. Louis to see him, see Mays, the OJs, and the Whispers, and folks, they can get a sense of that stage performance, just the stuff that I shot. Rome, hold on one second. Rome, go ahead and talk.
Yeah, I mean, the road was what we loved the most. The time when we were touring, had a tour bus, just great times, fun times. whatever we enjoyed doing, those long trips. It was just a great time, and there was times when we all were in the same bus, and it was just a lot of fun. Cards, dominoes, what everybody enjoyed doing. But it was also a time where we would just have that camaraderie that we have, and with Maze was part of that. Just being was magic. We created some beautiful magic in the studio as well as live.
And Roland, by the time I got there, Frank had graduated to his own bus, and so it would be Frank, Robin Dewey, and his management would be on that bus, and then we had our own tour bus. But what I remember most about us is that we all loved boxing. Frank loved boxing. I loved boxing. Rome loved boxing. So anytime there was a big fight, Frank would probably get it on the bus or in his suite, and we'd all gather around in that room and watch some good boxing. And he loved talking about the old fighters and stuff like that. I will always cherish that as well.
Yeah, we always had a great fellowship anytime we got together. It was just a beautiful time, always. With every band that came in and out, it was always the same core. Always the same core. We never, and you know, bands, there's 7 of us. There's always somebody that has indifferences, ego, whatever, that has never been in any of the bands that I've been in. We've always had some beautiful brothers to keep the legacy and the music. And it's just nothing like it. I mean, all you really want is people to get you and love what you're doing. And when you can create that kind of joy and you give that back, that's all you want. I mean, just the love through your music. It's nothing better than that.
Now I'm gonna do something right now. I'm gonna take y'all back, and I talk about this all the time. That when y'all got the Trumpet Award in 2010, that was the first major award y'all had ever received, correct?
Yes.
And I always talked about that, and I remember I was always discussing on my radio show. I remember telling Deborah Lee, when the hell y'all gonna honor Maze? I'm like, they ain't never got an award. And Deborah Lee said, are you serious? I'm like, yes, Deborah, I'm trying to tell y'all. And so then y'all got honored with the Trumpet Awards. So I'm gonna take y'all back 14 years, because I was there. Watch this.
All right, gents, we're here at the 18th Annual Trumpet Awards. I am shocked. Frankie Beverly Maze getting an award from somebody. Y'all all smiling and everything. Talk about that, somebody appreciating your work in this way.
Well, I mean, we couldn't ask for anything better. I mean, for the Trumpet Award, I mean, I think it's better than any award. You know, they recognize the people of you know, what they do, and I love it.
That is the satisfying part about it to me too, because it's a people's kind of a thing. It's hard to put anything over 40 years of love and affection that they've already given us. You know, so but this is from the people, and it is. It is like an icing on the cake.
Now, I love you guys, John. Like I said, I work y'all music into the CNN thing all the time. I slide it in. But I've always asked this question to people all across the country. What is it about your music that is special? And I've got literally 100 different answers. So from your perspective, what is it that connects with people in such a unique way? White folks got the Grateful Dead and Fish. We got Frankie Beverly Maze.
I get that. I think it's the work. It's always the work you do. We've always, from Philadelphia back in the 60s, in the hippie days, is that we've always done what I consider people music, life music, stuff like
Susan Taylor called it ultimate love.
Right on. But because it's more than just a man-woman kind of life. And people react on We Are One and all that kind of stuff like it's just came out or something.
Right.
Like you're in church or something.
Now, I got to tell y'all, when you performed in Dallas with the Gap Band, you came out and said, hey, guys, we're working on a new album. The audience started laughing. They like, yeah, right, go ahead and sing, y'all song. We don't need no new stuff. So, but how does it feel, though, to stand on stage and you're singing, or the music starts, and you ain't have to sing?
Yeah, that's
They just start singing the whole song.
Yeah. Hard to beat that, brother, man. I mean, awards, as good as they are, it's hard to beat that.
That's a great honor.
That's a great honor, man.
Now look, everybody, okay, all of them was amazed right here?
Yeah.
Okay, here. Now everybody know Frankie. What's your name?
Joe Douglas.
Say it again?
Joe Douglas.
Joe Douglas. Joe, what do you do?
I do the business.
Do the business? Oh, hell, we ain't talking to you. Okay. All right, what's your name?
Rome.
What do you play? What do you do?
Play congas and sing background vocals.
Gotcha, because nobody know your name. They just see the brother over there playing on stuff. We got his name. What's your name?
McKinley Williams, percussionist, background vocals.
All right, anybody here? What you do?
I do publicity for 28 years.
All right, what's your name?
Reve Gibson.
Reve. Anybody else? All right, we got the whole crew. All right. You do anything in the band? You do what you do?
Security for Mr. Beverly.
Oh, hell no. We ain't talking. All right, guys. Enjoy the show.
First of all, I want to thank my Lord and Savior.
You don't hear this.
Thank Him. For helping us get through 40 years of this. Blessing us. Blessing us to you because it kept us on.
That's right.
For over 40 years. And the national, awards were, really, really important. But this is different. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I've never known anything else. I just know that I want to make the cards. I want to thank my family, my brother, his lovely wife, my lady of 100 years. I want to thank my team, Joe, and Pat, and Stacy, and my band. I want to thank Amy because if it wasn't for Amy, I wouldn't even be up here. I mean, I just didn't think it was all this. And it is. It is. Things. If you wait on the Lord.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
We'll show you some things. That'll blow your mind. Thank you for the love of my life.
That right there, I took y'all back there, Rome.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and the only other award was the Lifetime Achievement, BET.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, I told Deborah Lee for about 5 years, yo, y'all need to give them the award. What the hell are y'all doing?
Thank you, bro. Much love. Appreciate you.
I got to ask y'all this here. Frankie told me the story, but I want to hear from you, Rome. Where the hell did the white come from? Because that was not planned.
No, that was Frank's favorite color. He didn't like different outfits and colors. He was never that. Although back in the maybe 80s, we had a stylist where we had different looks. And it worked, but he was very simple. I mean, he had 100 white outfits, and all of them looked the same pretty much. I mean, that was his trademark, And then the fans picked it up, and it was a white concert, a white party for years.
Well, he told me. It just. He said one day he came out, and one show he didn't wear white, and the audience was like, "Say, dog, what the hell you doing?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, I guess I better go ahead and put that white back on, huh?"
Yeah.
No, he had a red. He had a red velvet. He had a red velvet suit on one time. It was made like the white stuff, but it was this red velvet. And this lady, he said, "You look like the devil." Go. You heard it in the front row. "You look like a little devil. Go put that white on."
Now that's.
He said, "Shit, wait. I'll wait for you. Go put that white on." Oh man.
Now that.
But that was his signature look.
Yeah, and anytime he did have other outfits, man. That he had a black outfit every once in a while he would wear, but that audience, and he said he would get the next day they would be all on his email.
This is a photo right here. This is at Essence. Frankie, myself, and Ed Lewis, co-founder. Look, you guys closed Essence Festival for so many years.
10 years.
But y'all blew up. It was New Orleans. That Live in New Orleans.
Yes, sir.
When the record label said, "Man, y'all are killing it," what the Gulf Coast, New Orleans, Houston, that whole region, they are the ones that fully embrace. What is it? What was it about New Orleans and Houston, that whole area, that just, because again, people go, hell up, but y'all from Philly and your Bay Area, but it was really that region that put y'all over the top.
Yeah, we sold over 300,000 copies in Houston and between Texas and Louisiana. And Frank couldn't believe it when Larkin Arnold from Capitol Records at that time told him. He said, do you know how many records you sold in this area? He said, probably about maybe 100, He said, man, you're at 300K. And this was just in a matter of months. And the Live in New Orleans was, to me, the best album we've recorded.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Now, see, I'm partial to Live in L.A. I was jamming that coming down the street. I just letting you know. Matter of fact, that was a period. It probably was 2 years ago. This is no lie, because I get this from my daddy. I listened to Maze feature Frankie Beverly Live in L.A. for 3 straight months every day. I listen to anything. So I do that with music. I'll get one song and I'll play it like 8,500 times, and then, like it's new, but it always happens.
All right.
Last question for you. The split was hard. When y'all sat in the studio, y'all talked about you couldn't communicate with him. Did you get an opportunity to do that, to talk, to share, to hug?
Actually, I'm in the Bay Area now. I've been here since Monday. I had to be with him. And, it's my brother, and I love him. Again, he's meant so much to me. It's just heartbreaking to see him the way he was. But, he's all right now. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace, my brother. God has him. And I said my goodbyes pretty much. I was able to whisper to him because he couldn't open his eyes. I was hoping that he could see me and it would maybe get a response from him, but he couldn't open his eyes. And it was just me telling him that I'm here, how much I loved him, how much he meant to me. I mentioned Bug McKinley Williams, who passed away some time ago, just to let him know that there was so many people that loved him that he brought into his life and made ours better. So I was just really happy that I was able to see him and be with him at that moment in time. It's something, again, he'll be missed but never forgotten. And that's my brother.
I was going through my archives, and again, you never know what you got till you have to look for it. And this was a moment from the Jonah Cruise where Frankie talked about you coming up with the name Maze. Y'all play.
Because you can spend that money now if you ain't careful. You can spend up that money. I know about that. Anyway, let me introduce the band here really quick as we get back to the music. On the two girls, been with me 50 years. Got a long two guys. That used to be with Tony, wrote the song Anniversary. Carl Wheeler on the keyboard.
One of the clips. I actually have the clip where he talked about you coming up with that name, Maze, and that's how it all started. He will be missed, but the music does indeed live on, and I can guarantee you 50 years from now, at a black family reunion, a wedding, a barbecue, birthday party, Frankie Beverly and Maze will be on the playlist.
And Lark and Arnold, not Lark and Arnold, I'm sorry, but we were raw souls. And we met Marvin Gaye. His sister-in-law used to come see us at San Francisco club we used to play. She said, "You got to come see this band." Marvin came up and saw us, fell in love with the band, but he hated the name Raw Soul. So we started kicking out names, and I said, "Well, what about Maze?" And they said, "Yeah, that's cool," but they were kicking out other names. And it came back to Maze because at that point in time, musically, the music would take you in and out of different emotions. Just each song would take you on a journey. So that was my thought process. And that was it. And the rest is history. But yeah, it was because of Marvin Gaye that we changed the name. Loved him. He took care of us. He took us out on tour. He bought us equipment, paid rent. Beautiful brother. Beautiful brother. Loved him. We used to play basketball together at his crib. When he was with Jan Gay, we knew his family, his kids, but a beautiful cat.
Indeed. Gentlemen, we appreciate y'all sharing your thoughts and reflections. We are going to miss Frankie. We're going to miss the smile. We're going to miss the white suit. And I'm looking through my archives. You're right. I remember taking a photo on the cruise. Frankie had 20 hats. I said, "Frankie, you got 20 white hats."
And they're all the same.
I said, "Frankie, you could have brought 5. You didn't have to bring 20. I'm going to find the photo because the audience might be thinking I'm lying. Trust me, I'm not lying.
Hey, Roland,
No, you're not.
Roland.
Yeah.
Not only are you not lying, I will watch Frank in the dressing room try on 10 different ones before he chooses the one he gonna wear.
Yeah.
And you like, bruh, they all white.
Yeah.
And they all...
No, they're all white and they're all specially made for you. They were all tailored, and everything. But let me also say this too, man, in closing. I just want to tell the world, thank you to Mr. Beverly, because from Mr. Beverly is the reason that I developed relationships with Rome and Calvin and Bear and all the guys who are now TMF, and before with Robin Dewey and even Ron Smith, the guys that were before us, the guys that came before us, we have a brotherhood that still exists, and it's all tied to that one spirit. So to that, I say thank you, Mr. Beverly.
Yeah.
Gentlemen,
all right.
Gentlemen, we appreciate it. You have a fantastic day. I will see y'all soon.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate you.
Thank you,
we
Roland.
really do, man. Big love.
I appreciate it. Gentlemen, thank you so very much. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Folks, we got a lot more folks we need to line up. You guys go ahead and get the next round of guests. Let me just tell you, and we were behind. We were behind there. Seth the Entertainer. We're trying to get Sid. We're trying to get Daniel Weatherspoon. We've got Sheila E. We've got Susan Taylor, Ed Lewis coming up, Anthony Hamilton coming up. We have. Also, I'm missing a couple of Leela James, Melba Moore, and so just an amazing number of people. You know, we do these because we honor our own. I said to folks, we had pushed back the James Earl Jones. We will do a James Earl Jones tribute. We do this because the reality is our people don't get that love. Our people, when it comes to mainstream, so we have to create the space to celebrate our own. Again, this is one of the photos I shot of Frankie on the Tom Joyner Morning Show cruise. In fact, we reached out to Tom. Tom declined, but Tom told me, hold on one second, let me tell you what Tom said. Tom said, I got a couple of statements I want to read. Tom Joyner said, "Tell Roland I'm blasting Frankie so loud, the fish are complaining." And I did talk to Tom, and he said, "Man, Frankie Beverly loved Tom's brother, and he attended his brother's funeral in Tuskegee. He loved his brother, and Tom said that when his brother was in a coma, I think he said 37 days, he played Frankie Beverly and Mays music every day so loud it drove the nurses crazy." Bootsy Collins, we reached out to Bootsy Collins. He couldn't make the show, but Bootsy Collins said, "A friend, a musician, and legend, Mr. Frankie Beverly has escaped the chains of life and went on to pure freedom and bliss. He left when his work was done. Thank you, Frankie, for blessing us with a lifetime of musical gifts wrapped in love. Prayers going out to your family and friends. R.I.P. We love you, Bootsy baby." That was from Bootsy. And so, guys, let me know when we have our next round of guests so we can get to them. Let me know. So we're trying to get those guests together right now. So many other tributes. I was on social media looking at some of the tributes that were pouring in. Frankie, so many people were on social media sharing their thoughts and reflections and talking about him and at Essence Festival, and people sharing the stories of where they were and they saw him here and they saw him there, and when they went to so many concerts. And this photo here, I think, just really captures the essence of Frankie in terms of just how he was just so connected, if you will, connected with the audience. You heard what Jubu said. In the last several years, the voice was faltering, but the reality is he was still he was still on that stage. He was still singing his heart out for the people. And I remember Melanie Span Cooper telling me a story when they were they came to Chicago, and they actually had one stop, but so many people, the tickets went so fast, and folk complained so much that they actually had to do a second concert. And she said, well, in between shows, Frankie got a little lit and came out. She said, straight up, 30 straight minutes. He said they stood on that stage, and the band, she said, and the crowd literally said, Frankie, we got this, y'all. And the crowd sang every song, all the lyrics for 30 straight minutes. That's just how it was, with their audience, that relationship with that audience, how the audience loved connecting with them and the sounds. And so you would go to the concert. I remember being at Essence Fest, and security down front. And so what I'm doing, I'm multitasking, y'all, while Carol is getting the folk ready over there. I'm going through here and looking for the photos. We were in the Bahamas together when he sang at the Boulay Convention there. And maybe it's on this phone over here. And what was interesting is, so the security was tripping because they didn't want anybody in the aisle. And Frank was like, hey, man, let the folk dance. Let the folk dance. And I saw him do that several times. In fact, when we were in St. Louis, he did the exact same thing when security was trying to stop folk from getting in the aisles and dancing. And so, because he understood that the audience came there to have a good time. The audience came there to enjoy themselves, to dance, and to have a ball, and that's what it was all about. And he wanted the audience to actually do that. And so he made that point known when he performed. And so that's what made those times special. And you'll be out there again, you'll be moving and grooving, dancing with folk you don't even know. I remember being at Essence line dancing with Ava DuVernay. We did that, and so man, you know, those things happen. But that's what life was like. That's what it was always about. In fact, let me go ahead. Here is let me airdrop this here. This is the photo when we were in the Bahamas. Again, he performed at the Boulay Convention, and so the band was there, and they traveled. And here's the other thing, they were a road band. They were road dogs. They hit the road. This is a photo of me and my wife Jackie with Frankie Beverly backstage. We were there in the Bahamas, and so it was just always a joy to see Frankie, to spend time with Frankie. It was just always awesome. He was always gracious. He was always wonderful. Man, we would talk. Frankie Beverly was, listen, y'all, Frankie Beverly didn't play when it came to politics. He didn't play when it came to politics. He understood politics. He understood that politics mattered. And it was important for our people to be engaged in the political process. He endorsed President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris in 2020. So he understood that. This here is an image of Frankie performing at, give me 1 second, it's about to pull up. This is, you see, this is a great photo of Frankie in Rome. This is actually so funny. This is at the MGM National in Maryland. I actually, I didn't even have a ticket. I just rolled in, they let me in. I walked up to the front of the stage and boom, I took that photo of Frankie, and you see Rome to the right just smiling. Now the band in this photo is wearing all black. I just noticed that. I ain't never seen a band in all black and Frankie in white, but they were. And so, man, the crowd just loved them. All right, y'all, who we got up? Folks, joining us right now, Seth the Entertainer, Jeffrey Osborne, Anthony Hamilton, and Melba Moore. Glad to have all four of you here. Let me start with you, Anthony Hamilton, because you were part of the tribute to Frankie Beverly at Essence Festival this year, and you said it was a high honor for you to fet and celebrate this dear brother, and here we are about 3 months later, he's now an ancestor.
Yeah, man. You know, Frankie was one of those artists that I heard as a little boy, and I knew his voice was different. And the fact that I got a chance to meet him and to be under his wing and to share a stage with him and even toured with him, you know, it's surreal to me. But he took me in and was kind to me like that great uncle. And we had a lot of good laughs.
And you know, we talk a lot about stage presence. We talk about those things, and I always said he didn't sit here and go from that end of the stage to the other. They picked their spot, and basically it was like they were like, I'm gonna work it between here and here.
Yeah. Well, when you got great songs and everybody's singing your music, you don't have to do much. You know, you got crowd participation, and there's already a vibe and an energy in the room. So, you know, say less, do less, and enjoy it more. You know what I mean? Ain't no right, Melba, y'all. Come on.
This is a video. Guys, go to my iPad. This is a video from your Instagram page of you and Frankie backstage. Melba Moore, just share your thoughts of Frankie Beverly.
Well, he was part of everybody's family and fabric. My niece is 27, and she was really, really upset at his passing because he was at every barbecue, at every family gathering. He really became part of the fabric of the Black family.
Absolutely.
Jeffrey Osborne, how far do y'all go back?
Oh, we go way back. I mean, back further than anyone knows, because I met Frankie in Newport, Rhode Island, of all places, where I have my tournament. This was in 1963. He was going through Hurley's Lounge there, playing in Newport, Rhode Island. That was before he became successful and big. And then I toured with him for years with LTD. I mean, we did so many shows together. So I go way back with Frankie. And I have to say, we lost a really good one. It just hurts my heart to see some of the people that we've lost. And even this week with James Earl and now Frank, it's tough because I'm up there around that same age. We about the same age, me and Frankie. So, it's just sad, man. But he's going to be in history forever as a great legend, an unbelievable, one of the most soulful guys I've ever met.
If one of you could just turn your speaker down, that's why we're getting that feedback. So you just turn your speaker down, that'll help us out. Seth the Entertainer, you thought you were a member of Maze. You tried to sneak on stage many a time.
Yeah. I mean, wearing all white. I let my beard grow in. I was really trying to Frankie Beverly it up there, man. He was. Frankie was one of those people for us, man. He was definitely a sex symbol. He was smooth. He was cool. He was that uncle that we all loved, and his music just resonated with us, man. Like just culturally on every level, man. So I remember I was a DJ in college in '83, my junior year, and the We Are One album came out, and I got to play I Love You Much Too Much. I Love You Too Much, man. And I mean, man, people would call back to back because it was a Quiet Storm type show. Oh, wow. And they said, what is this feeling? Can't eat a bite. Man, I just still remember how famous I was because I played the song.
Melba talked about how smooth Frankie was. Y'all, look at this photo right here. Man, it was a lot of brothers. They were nervous when they woman would meet Frankie at the meet and greet.
Very sexy.
He's the first Chris Brown.
Jeffrey, did y'all ever tour together?
Yeah, we did. We never really toured together, but we were out almost every weekend, every week together. I mean, back in 70s, like 77, 78, we were always together. Frankie and LTD. I mean, and then I toured with him a lot as a solo artist. The one thing I remember about Frankie is that every time I did a show with him, just before he came on, they cleared the hallway, and they said, "Maze is coming. Get to clear the hallway," and they cleared everybody out the hallway so Frankie would come.
Wait a minute, hold up. You know what? I'm gonna tell you why that's hilarious. Because I'm gonna find a video too, because that literally happened in St. Louis in June. Yeah. So Melba, Regina Bell, actually, they brought her in as a special guest to surprise Frankie. Man, they cleared the hallway. She was like, I'm actually the surprise guest for Frankie. Baby, you gotta move back.
Yeah, get out too, Regina.
They made everybody move back.
Right, they made everybody move back, and then this little small man come out. I was like, man, y'all tripping. We had to clear the whole hallway. I'll say this here, Anthony. It's amazing to me how many times I've been to other artists' shows, and they gonna sing a Frankie Beverly Maze song.
Absolutely. It's because he had hits that was steeped in like just culture. Like you've heard them all. You probably got a whooping to one of them. You probably heard mama and daddy in there dancing behind us, to one of them. So he had those songs, the cookout, the drunk uncle at the picnic, all that. So Frankie, you have to sing that because it's in your blood. You don't even know you're singing it sometimes.
Also, Melba, why I think that is also great, because you may be having an off night, but you throw a Frankie Beverly Mays song on. It's like the preacher who ain't preaching well, but when he go to the cross, he gonna get an automatic amen.
Well, I know Frankie because we were label mates. That's where I first met him, and I got the privilege of somehow being paired up with him. So I toured with him too because we were both on Capitol Records together.
I found it, Jeffrey. I'm gonna pull up in a second when they cleared the hallway out. I'm always see. Everybody dogged me. Said no this. They all dogged me at the golf tournaments talking about Roland always got his damn camera. But then they all want to say, man, can you make sure we get that video? Because you the only one who had the shot. So
the only one got it.
Oh yeah.
You get the shot.
Matter of fact, here it is right here. Go to it. Let's see here. That's them. Hold on, let me try to play it. Them clearing us out. We had to go way the hell back. I was like, man, y'all know he know who I am. Stop it. Let me go around each one. Jeffrey, your go-to Frankie Beverly Mays song.
Well, my go-to is Joy and Pain. That's the one. I mean, that was like one of the first hits he had, and it was just, one of those songs. I mean, Frankie was just a groover, man. He knew how to groove. He could just put you right in that moment of grooving. So, but Joy and Pain was my favorite. I know about most people's Before I Let Go. I mean, that's the barbecue picnic song.
That's a barbecue
Joy
song.
and Pain has a special meaning to me. It's a great song.
Actually, mine is Feel That You're Feeling.
Oh, really?
From Live in L.A.
Yeah.
Oh, that's one of them. Anthony, what's yours?
After the morning after.
Yeah.
I was like, he talking about something happened last night.
Whoopsie.
Melba, what's your go-to?
Well, definitely, I want to thank you because that was the last one I was able to sing with him on this last thank you tour. So that's one that's right in front of my heart right here.
Say it. You named one earlier, but do you have another one?
Oh man, I got a million of them. I'm Frankie Beverly out around here, man. But while I'm alone, that's one of my go-tos. Golden Time of Day, that's one of my go-tos. After the morning after, he killed that one. Just joint, he got joints, man. I run to them all, man. I'm Frankie Beverly out over here, man.
My last question for y'all, and I asked this question literally over the last 20 years, and I want to hear from each one of you. What was it about their music? They didn't win Grammys. They didn't win American Music Awards. They didn't win a Soul Train Award. Their first award was a trumpet award. They didn't put out any new stuff. You knew exactly what they were gonna sing. I keep saying white folks had the Grateful Dead and Fish. Black people had Frankie Beverly and Mays. They were the only group outside of Prince that could make you wear the same outfit. Because when Jeffrey would wear them sheer shirts, none of us wearing the sheer shirt.
You still got them too.
Jeffrey, you knew I was gonna bring up the sheer shirts, Jeffrey. So, but start with Melba. What was it? What made their music just so different? What was it?
It had a certain fingerprint mood and groove, and it didn't need to change. It's magnetic. I think it's just well, I hate to be religious, it's the presence of God. It's not going to get old, it can't. And it's part of the fabric. I mean, when the intro starts, you're already in. And of course, now you know it's Frankie. But if you didn't know it, you'd have to love it. He knows how to do chord changes. I think he wrote all of those songs, which I think is incredible. And so it's him, it's his vibe, it's his charisma. That's a fancy word for it, but it's a magnetism that's irresistible, and it's nothing to change. Why fix it if it ain't broke?
Yeah.
Say, what was it for you? What was it? What?
Man, it was. I mean, of course, it was the tone of his voice, a very, very smooth, melodic voice, and the songwriting. I mean, it's so simple, and he just speaks right to you. Like I was just thinking about that. You know, I love you much too much. He just, you know, is just like, what is this feeling? Can't eat a bite, work till I'm tired, can't sleep at night. You know, it's just like it's so right there, everything you're trying to say at a moment. And he's got it in such a smooth melody and his vocal tone, and the music is tight, the band is tight. They tight like Earth, Wind, and Fire. They was another tight band. People don't really trip off how dope Maze was as a band. They just so solid.
Anthony.
You know, I think it's the way he just relaxed into the music. He didn't try too hard. He didn't have to be more than what he was. And I think it was so beautiful in its own purest form that you didn't understand, like, wow, he didn't do too much, but I feel like he's giving me everything I ever needed. And then the tone of his voice, like Sid said, man, he had his own tone. Like when you hear him, you know exactly who that is. And I think the classic sound and the band made a big difference because when you saw them live, they sound exactly like the record.
Yes.
And it's so hard to forget that feeling that you got live. So you want to hear that again. So he put you in a cycle, man, and a cycle of good music and good times.
Jeffrey, bring us home.
Well, for me, it was simplicity, because I always say that beauty is simplicity. And he just gave you that space. Nothing got in the way. He would put that groove. Everything fit in a space. It just had a vibe. And he sat right in the middle of it. And it touches you. It touches your soul because it's so simple. It's so organic. But it's, you know, not everybody can do that. He was a true artist, and he knew how to touch your soul.
And the other thing is this here. He was a musician. I just want to give people a little taste of this here. Just go ahead, pull the audio up. Check this out. That is what all four of y'all said. When that hits, you know what's about to happen. You know what's coming. You like, oh, everybody stand up. He ain't even said nothing yet.
Right. He even starts.
Touch your soul, baby.
And that live in New Orleans where he doing Joint Pain and the crowd singing. When we first heard that at the Sanger, it's like I remember as a young performer, I ended up going to the Sanger, you know, as a stand-up, and I had to sing it while I was there because I was on stage, and I made everybody sing with me, Joint Pain, because of that moment that he got out of it. It just felt like you needed to have the spirit of that moment happen when you were in that venue. Yeah. And it's like, I ain't know y'all can sing too. I ain't know y'all can sing too now.
Well, you can tell this was from the Tom Joyner cruise, and man, the crowd was grooving. They had the lights, they had the whole deal. They controlled it. We appreciate all four of you sharing your thoughts as we celebrate Frankie Beverly, Melba Moore, Anthony Hamilton, Seth the Entertainer, and my man Jeffrey Osborne. Jeffrey, I hate I missed your golf tournament. COVID put me on my ass, but you know,
you're feeling better, baby.
You know,
I hope you're better.
You know, I'll be back. Matter of fact, I miss both of y'all.
Yeah, you missed mine too.
You and Sid. So that's right. Next year, a month before y'all tournament, I'm being masked up everywhere.
All right. Looking forward to seeing you.
Y'all take care. We appreciate it.
All right, thanks, man. Great job, man.
Much love to Frankie's family, man.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, folks. Do this here. Yeah, just go ahead and roll that video as Carol's going to get set up for our next round of guests. Yeah, let's just enjoy Frankie Beverly. I'm telling you, man. Man, just so many memories. Again, we were on the cruise and man, we were just shoot. It was all kind of videos that I was shooting. The crowd, all kinds of different stuff. And I remember folks used to sit, they tell me, Roland, you can't shoot all them videos. I was like, we're gonna need them one day. Y'all sitting here tripping. It's amazing to see. I got so many different things of Frankie Beverly Mays in concert in D.C., on a cruise, in New Orleans. I mean, all over. They were absolutely amazing. As I was telling y'all, we're going to be sharing that one-on-one interview. Actually, here's a little bit more. Let me go ahead. I want to play this video. Y'all go ahead and roll this. Now, folks, we were at the, and I just found this here. We were at the Urban. I told y'all I got so much stuff. I forgot what I have. We were at the Urban One Honors. They honored Frankie Beverly this year, and I'm just gonna play it from this phone. We were at the Urban One Honors, and so we were at the after party. Don't think Frankie Beverly was just gonna sit around in the corner, y'all. No, Frankie was gonna get out there on that dance floor. And so check this out. Come on, Frankie! Come on, Frankie! Come on, Doc! Let's get it! You make me happy. I got you. She said that light was too bright for her. All right, folks, we want to bring in our next round of guests. Joining us right now is Jonte Austin, Grammy Award-winning singer and songwriter. We also have joining us is Ron Smith. Glad to have Ron Smith with us as well. And we also have Ed Lewis, co-founder of Essence Magazine. And I want to start with you, Ed, because you said, as long as I'm running this, May is gonna close out Essence Fest, and man, it was always something. The audience, listen, they knew exactly what they gonna sing. They were not gonna deviate from the playlist, and you knew how they gonna open, how they gonna close, but they always turned out the Superdome.
No doubt about it. You know, when Essence began the festival in 1995, we were in my office and talking about acts who would really be quite wonderful in being at the festival. And many of my staff members didn't know about Frankie. And I was at the Madison Square Garden listening to, oh my God, the name escapes me at the moment, Tony Braxton. There were 18,000 people, and he opened for Tony Braxton. And I never saw so many 18,000 people dancing in the aisles. I said, oh my God, who is this man? And so when the Essence Festival came together, there's no doubt in my mind that he should be there, and what he was able to do for the next 15 years in closing the show just brought the kind of joy, happiness, togetherness, just a spontaneous electric slide that made us all feel good, and really, I believe, made the Essence Festival even more special. For the word had passed along that you need to be at Essence, you need to see Frankie Beverly and Maze.
Ron, you were with Maze. You're a former band member of Maze. Just share with us.
Yes.
What was it like to work with him, to be in partnership with him, to be on the road with him, and to be on those massive stages and look up and see this sea of black people in white, as Ed just said, line dancing, filling the aisles, and having a great time?
Oh, it was nothing like it. It was an incredible experience. And Frankie was such a, consummate musician. A lot of people don't realize his rhythm guitar playing was incredible. It's something that was hard for me to even duplicate and really couldn't duplicate. And that's what kept us together, that he guided the band with his guitar playing. And seeing the people, it was unbelievable. I never seen anything like that. And I played with a few artists, but just the people, the reaction, and seeing those people, especially at the Essence, hit that electric slide, man, it was unbelievable.
Jonte, you're a singer-songwriter, and that's what Frankie Beverly was. He wrote many of these songs. And so it's a different thing when you're a singer and you're writing songs versus having somebody write songs for you. And so he embodied the song. He felt it. And Melba said it earlier. It was like a spiritual thing between him and the audience.
No, absolutely. And Ed spoke to it. It was togetherness. You know what I mean? Like the songs, the way that he sang them, the way that he interacted with the audience, it highlighted, Black togetherness, Black joy, Black love, Black fun. All of the songs, Southern Girl, Joy and Pain, Before I Let Go, these were staples, at all of our cultural things, be it cookouts, be it weddings, wherever. Frankie provided the soundtrack for culture.
Ed, you said something that I thought was important when you said that a lot of folks didn't know who he was, and that was the amazing thing, that here you can have a band that, again, they didn't have #1 hits. They didn't win all these awards, but the fan base was so loyal, so dedicated. Again, I've seen all these different groups, and there's no shade, and I love the OJs and the Commodores and Kool and the Gang, and Earth, Wind and Fire, but they had a cult.
Yes, they did. I mean, every song that he performed, the audience knew the words, every word, and danced to the music, danced to the togetherness, and that was something to behold. I used to tell people, you really need to come and see what happens that last evening and see how people respond.
Oh, yeah. I remember John, I was at CNN, and John Klein was the president, and I said, John, I'm telling y'all, this is a documentary. And I always wanted to do, and so when I was at TV One, I always wanted to do this documentary. And what ended up happening was, when we had done an interview in 2016, and they were taking forever, and then when they canceled my show in 2017, we got word December 9th, and our last day was like December 21st. And I was like, yo, as long as I got control of this damn hour, we running that damn special. And so I made them edit that stuff. And so a lot of the video that you see that's actually in that special, I actually shot. I was like, yo, we getting this on because the story was so important, Ron, that connection. And I really, the vision that I had, and I actually mentioned it to Frankie. He said his son was doing one. I don't know whatever happened with that, but I really felt that Frankie Beverly and Mays deserved a major documentary to answer the question, what was it about, what is it about their music that creates such fervor for black people? Ron, what do you think it is?
Oh man, that's a tough one. It was something that just attracted the people, and I've never seen an audience respond like they did. And it was a trip because a lot of the men were bigger fans than the women. And I remember shows where guys would be out there checking out the girls. You could see them. And then when the band came on, they was knocking them same girls out the way because they wanted to be at the front of the stage. Wow. And then sometimes they would end up dancing with each other, but didn't know it. So if you had video of them dancing together, they would have been like, oh, man, oh, what are we doing, you know? I mean, it was just, I don't know. It was just something about that band. I noticed it before I got with them because I played with Patti LaBelle before I got with them.
Yep.
And we did some dates together. And at that time, they only had 3 albums out, but the audience, it was incredible. I mean, the reception from the audience was just unbelievable. And then once I got in there and experienced it for myself, I was like, man, this is some different stuff here. So I don't know. Something about the songs, the grooves, and Frank drove us. He drove us real hard. He was no joke when it came to keeping the pocket. Because guys listen to me and listen to my parts, and they talk about how tight I play the grooves. I said that's because he was, demanding me and schooling me. He let me know when I was rushing, when I was dragging. I'm thinking, hey, this is all right to me. For him, no. And so I had to learn those things. And all of that, I think, breeds into the attraction, that people had. The grooves were so solid.
Yep.
They were solid. Yeah.
John Tay, I would say that was a special seasoning. That was a secret sauce that they had with the music that, frankly, you cannot replicate.
No, absolutely not. They were, it's interesting you say seasoning, because I was going to say they're like your favorite restaurant that you've been going to for the last 20 years. You know how it's going to be. It's never lost its standard. Keep in mind, Frankie and Mays never put an album out after 1995. And they didn't need to, you know what I mean? And so it's because it's that consistency.
No, I am not lying. I played the clip earlier. They were at a concert and they said, yeah, we working on some new stuff. The audience started laughing.
Right. Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, all right, yeah, whatever. Go ahead and sing them old songs.
Because he's been saying that for years.
Yeah, that's what we wanted. We wanted that consistency. We knew every year at Essence Fest, and then every city kind of became its own Essence Fest, because if Frankie was coming to town, we're gonna wear all white. We're gonna sing these songs. It's gonna be a joyous occasion. That's, like you say, it's the secret sauce, but it really is that. It's the happiness that came, watching Frankie and singing with Frankie, and it's something that spoke, to our souls, to our spirit.
Ed, that was a point. That was a point when they didn't close, and I think they came back 5 years later, and it was very interesting. And again, this year was the first time I had missed Essence, I think since 2007. I was in Ethiopia, and what was interesting was I think it was like a 4 or 5 year period.
Yes.
It felt weird.
It did, regrettably. And if I had still continued to be there, which I was not, because I had already sold the company, as far as I was concerned, he would always have been there with respect to closing that show, because he meant so much in terms of he connected with the audience, and he had a love for his people, and he wanted to do his best to make us all feel good. And that came through. That came through with the love and response that people wanted to show him, and he wanted to show them. I'm for you, and I'm here for you, and I'm going to give you the best that I can to make you feel good.
We are one.
Just in case that song, We Are One. Just in case the audience, y'all thought I was laughing, this is a photo, I found it, of the dressing room of Frankie. He had 9 white hats, and they were all the same. And I was like, Frank, you could have brought just 2. So y'all thought I was joking. I was not joking. He absolutely will be missed. The music will live forever. And I just think you're right, Ed. Somebody in the group chat said, man, I wish I had gone to a Maze concert. And I told folk the same thing. And I'm looking for the video. I know I have it, but my first Essence Festival, I wasn't rolling. So I was in somebody's suite, way the hell up. I wasn't with the Coca-Cola VIPs like I've been the last decade. But here's why it was amazing. Why it was amazing to be up there. So I'm in a suite way up, and Maze is performing, and I had a video. I'm gonna find it, and the whole Superdome was line dancing.
Yes.
They're not just line dancing on the floor.
Yeah.
They line dancing in the seats.
Yeah.
And I shot this, and it's just what Ed said when he saw in New York. I said, damn. And now, mind you, my cousin's former husband, he went to Prairie View. And he used to always talk about Maze doing Prairie View's homecoming. I remember him telling us a story. They had a road trip to Florida, and they literally listened to Maze from Houston to Florida and back. I was like, y'all didn't change the artist? And so I was a junior high school student, but that experience, when I saw it, I said, no, I know what the hell he was talking about. It was unbelievable to be that high up in the Superdome in a suite and to see the whole Superdome.
Yes.
Just moving and group. It was stunning. Ed, close us out.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You know, what can I say? Dear Lord, I thank you for bringing someone so special to make us all feel good as a people. Frankie, we love you, and thank you for all that you've done for us.
Ed Lewis, John Tay, Ron, gentlemen, I appreciate y'all joining us. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ron.
Folks, again, Frankie will be missed. And I'm just going to tell you a couple of stories. When we did the special, on the interview with Frankie. Don't show this video yet. Don't show the video yet. We did the special with them. We aired it, and a little bit later, that month, I ran the photos I showed you from MGM Grand. He was in a concert, and I went backstage, and we had cleared the dressing room out, and he and I was back there with my parents. We were all, chatting, and Frankie began to talk about the interview. And I thought I had the picture on my phone, but I don't. And he said so his longtime partner, Pam Moore, television anchor in San Francisco. I've known Pam. I met Pam through NABJ. So I actually met Pam before I even knew Frankie. That was 35 years ago at NABJ at our convention in New York in 1989. And he told me that Pam had made him dinner. She had recorded the special and had made him dinner. And while I'm talking to y'all, I'm looking for this photo, so bear with me. And he said that she put it on, and he said about 15, 20 minutes in, had to stop it because tears were just coming down. Because what we did was we had interviewed a bunch of people, and we had them talking about what was about their music. Some of those interviews were lost and drove me crazy, like one with Usher and some other people. I was so hot. But luckily we found a lot of it. And Frankie said he had to stop it. And tears, he was just crying. Now, he's telling me this story, and he's literally crying. As he's telling me the story, he's crying. And that's who he was. He was a very emotional person. In the interview, and you're going to see this in about 5 minutes, he was emotional in the interview, talking about that love from the fans. A lot of people said, Frankie, your voice is gone. Retire. A lot of folks said he should have retired 5 years ago. They said he should have retired a long time ago. No. I think it's somewhat fitting that he ends his run in July, and he will run in September. He's now an ancestor. He left it all on the stage. He left it all there. And a consummate artist, a genuine man who I love to text, love to talk with, love to see him. And what I'm about to play for y'all, this was April 8th, 2017. We're on the Tom Joyner Morning Show cruise. It's 4 a.m. They performed earlier, and so y'all are gonna see this, there was a section over there. Jubu was over there, Rome, Frankie, and so it's 4 o'clock. Yeah, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, and the DJ puts on a Frankie Beverly and Mays song. Now I told y'all I always got my camera. I'm always ready, and because of that, we captured this amazing 4-minute and 50-second moment. Lord's about to call me. All right, go ahead and pick it up. Hold on. Sorry, folk calling me. Oh, how did that happen? I got do not disturb on. All right, pick it up. Frankie Stanley Beverly, dead at the age of 77. And we will never forget that moment there. The hug at the end and him giving the peace sign. He's no longer with us in body, but he is still with us in spirit. Folks, coming up next, encore presentation of my TV One special from 2017 called Simply Amazing, a one-on-one with Frankie Beverly. This has been a Black Star Network special. We'll be right back.
In 2016, Donald Trump said he would choose only the best people to work in his White House. Now those people have a warning for America. Trump is not fit to be president again. Here's his vice president.
Anyone who puts himself over the Constitution should never be president of the United States. It should come as no surprise that I will not be endorsing Donald Trump this year.
His defense secretary.
Do you think Trump can be trusted with the nation's secrets ever again?
No. I mean, it's just irresponsible action that places our service members at risk, places our nation's security at risk.
His national security advisor.
Donald Trump will cause a lot of damage. The only thing he cares about is Donald Trump.
And the nation's highest-ranking military officer.
We don't take an oath to a king or a queen or to a tyrant or a dictator. And we don't take an oath to a wannabe dictator.
Take it from the people who knew him best. Donald Trump is a danger to our troops and our democracy. We can't let him lead our country again.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Another special edition of News One Now, a conversation with the front man of one of the most prolific bands in modern music history, Frankie Beverly. We'll chat about his musical roots, the evolution of Maze, the unique relationship Maze has with a loyal African-American fan base, and the foundation for their illustrious music career. For 40 years, Frankie Beverly has been the voice behind the band's amazing, unfiltered soul and funk. And with mega hits like Happy Feelings, Golden Time of Day, and Before I Let Go, their infectious rhythms have stood the test of time more than most musicians will see in a lifetime. Maze has never won a Grammy Award, American Music Award, a Soul Train Award,
or experienced mainstream success, but the band has endeared themselves to a devoted African-American fan base. And no barbecue, no family reunion or wedding is complete without their music at the family get-together. Armed with his arsenal of music anthems and broad spectrum of musical influences, Frankie Beverly is the creative spark of this phenomenon. He's simply, along with Maze, amazing.
Music that has always been a part of the movement, socially, what's been going on. They do feel-good music, but they also do soul music that speaks to the generation. It speaks to what's going on in the news, socially. I think we need to kind of get back to that, too. I think the audience needs to understand that us as artists not only do what we do because we love what we do, but we use this as a platform to get a message told as well. And I think Frankie Beverly and Maze do that.
Frankie Beverly and Maze are road warriors. They're always out there gigging. I mean, you can't pick up a newspaper or anything out without seeing Frankie Beverly and Maze, Frankie Beverly and Maze everywhere in the world ever since they've been going. You know, they're the kind of group that back in the day R&B groups wanted to be like.
The fact that he hasn't made an album in like 52 years and it still resonates with us is it just shows you it's real music, real instruments, and it comes from his soul. If you ever seen him perform, it's from his soul, it's his gut. Like, I've seen him at least 15 times, and he's probably performed over 800,000 times. And every time I've seen him, he acts like the song, like probably the first day he ever wrote or performed the song. It's so real.
I mean, I remember growing up and, you know, my parents playing it in the house, and also just going to so many jazz, like Sinbad's jazz festivals. I used to go to that, and Sinbad would have them there, and it just brings back great memories of good R&B, you know what I mean?
Favorite Frankie Beverly and Maze song of all time is Golden Time of the Day. And it's because I'm a sunrise person, but I also love the sunset. So that song just puts me into a whole nother space and like really kind of gets me into a vacation or a chill out mode no matter where I'm at.
Frankie Beverly, what's happening?
Hey, man, you know, hanging in there.
Y'all good?
Hanging in there.
Y'all been at this thing a long time.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is, and I'll never forget, you were performing in Dallas, and Gap Band came up before you guys came on, and you came out there and you said, hey, we're working on this new album. And the whole audience cracked up laughing. They just cracked up laughing like, man, whatever. You know what? Sing what we know.
Yeah, you know, that is true. And it's a deeper relationship between Maze and their people. I can't put my finger on it, but I recognize it and I see it. So that's why they don't care. Yes, they want something new, but it's not the old record business kind of thing. Hey, you better put something out soon, otherwise people will forget you and blah. But that never happened with us. So, and it's turned into what you see now. It amazes me to this day, man.
The reason why I like Joy and Pain is because that's what their music is. Their music is about happiness. Their music is about sadness. It's about reflection. It makes you feel good. It evokes emotions. And, you know, it's not bad backyard barbecue music. Yeah, we love Frankie Beverly and Maze.
One of the reasons we love art as a collective, as humanity, is because we recognize the highs and lows, and we see ourselves in it, and Frankie Beverly and Maze is not just musical and lyrical.
Before I let go, I feel like, I mean, that's just like family reunion. That just brings back all the nostalgic moments in my head, you know? It's just like, that's the song that everyone knows. That's the cape. So before I let go, I think, so yeah.
You can't pick one. Everything about them is fabulous.
What would you say it is that what makes your music so unique that touches people in a different way?
Love. It's gotta be love. It's bigger stuff going on than this is not just us or me or something. There's some other things going on in the background. We have a helper that does this for us. I believe that. I'm a believer. I believe in Jesus. And it's about that, to me. It's about love. That's the difference between Maze and Maze's people. I look out on this, man, and I see people getting along. It's just inspiring.
And multi-generational.
Just everything.
You got grandmama and grandfather and their children and their kids' kids.
It's just amazing, you know, and it's just enthuses me. I'm from I'm the ex-flower child. So this is like unbelievable to me. I don't know if there's another act.
Oh, no,
that's ever this kind of thing has happened.
Oh, no.
I'm
being, look, I've told people, I've said this. In fact, I remember when I was on CNN, I said it too. I said, white folks got the Grateful Dead, they got Fish, and there's Maze. I said, they come into town, you ain't even thought about a new song. I'm going. And you know you're going to party, and you can bring your kids with you. You know you're not worried about folks being butt naked.
Right.
You're not worried about cursing.
Right.
You're not worried about any of that.
Right.
You know it's going to be about an absolute good time.
We're gonna get down. We're gonna have a good time.
Well, there came like sunshine and rain. Would you do it by yourself?
So when you're singing and the whole joint is singing the lyrics, and you can just stand there and just you can literally walk off stage, go get some water, go get something to eat. You can actually take a nap. Because all the band got to do is just switch the song. They gonna start singing whatever the band.
You're right. I mean, you're actually right. I mean, there's times when I'm hoarse and stuff, and that just saves me. The people just, y'all sing. Okay, we got it.
Sing it with all your might. Joy, well, there came like sunshine and rain. Sing it with me right now.
Y'all paid to come here and sing.
It is. It's just unbelievable, man. It is, and it makes us work hard and make us do everything we can to maintain this thing that we have.
I love Happy Feelings, though, because it makes me happy. And I think, like Melinda said, it's their feel-good music. It feels good. It makes you happy. And that's what I want in my life. And I think that's why they have such longevity. It's like they've been around forever. They don't get old or anything.
Happy feelings. Happy feelings everywhere. It's one of those songs that makes you feel happy. When that thing comes on, it just automatically puts you in that mood, a good mood. And that's one of my favorite Frankie Beverly and Maze songs.
Coming up, my conversation continues with Frankie Beverly, and we'll chat about his musical roots and his early career years as a doo-wop singer in his hometown of Philadelphia. Folks, don't touch that dial. Simply amazing. A conversation with Frankie Beverly continues right here on TV One.
I got so much in the Frankie line growing up. It's just sing on the corners. They just pitch me quarters and to sing. I sang every song, and they used to call me Little Frankie.
Frankie Beverly and Maze is I don't want to curse, but I really feel it. I just love them. I saw them in Vegas not that long ago, and I sang every song, and I'm like, am I dating myself? I don't care. I'm singing every song. I had the great time.
What makes them special is the fact that they've been able to have a career that lasts, my lifetime. I mean, not too many people get to make music that is going to transcend generations, and their music continues to transcend, so it's great.
My favorite Frankie Beverly and Maze song, Before I Let Go. Been in 5 weddings in the last 3 years, and that's the perfect reception song. Everyone's on the dance floor, your grandmother, your aunt, your uncles, the kids. It's the perfect reception, family reunion song. It just sums it all up.
You said you are a former flower child.
Yes.
And people think in terms of Maze being a West Coast. But y'all didn't start off West Coast.
Not at all.
Where did this whole thing begin?
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. That is not West Coast. Trust me, it is not West Coast. It's a great city. Glad I was born and raised. Raised there kind of prepares you for what life is. Some of the greatest music ever, down and dirty people, straight up. It's a good place to be raised because it really teaches you what you're gonna have to go through in life. And the same thing in everything you do. In music, same thing. I used to sing in the church till about the time Frankie Lyman came. It just turned my whole life around.
How so?
He got me. My name is Howard. My name is not Frankie. My mother named me that ugly-ass name, Howard.
Howard Beverly?
Howard. I got so much into Frankie Lyman growing up. I used to sing on the corners. They used to pitch me quarters and to sing. I sang every song, and they used to call me Little Frankie. So,
and that's how you became
here I am.
Frankie Beverly.
I mean, this cat had me tooth and nails, man. He just turned my whole life around. That's who Frankie Beverly is, where I came from. Yeah, Philadelphia. Tried used to be around the town. Grew up with Teddy and Harold Melvin and all those, Cat Patty, all of us, you know. We had a little different kind of little thing, and went from, we used to call the Butlers. Had that group for a while. Made some 45s around, you know. Pretty good records, but it's just nothing. After we got going through, as I say, come through them 60s, I got out of the singing group thing, and I decided, and as a matter of fact, the group broke up. The Beatles broke us up. Some of the guys wanted to sing. The Beatles made some of the guys in the group, the singing group, think that we should all grab an instrument and do it. Just like I said, you guys crazy, you know. So it really broke the group up. I was sitting around, I was living with a pimp, as a matter of fact.
You were living with a pimp in Philadelphia?
I had to, you know, my father, you know.
He's like, this singing stuff ain't it?
I quit a job, boy. I quit a job that he got me.
Oh, yeah.
And because we rehearsed late that night before I could get up and...
Oh, yeah.
Man, he found out about that when he got home, man. He came in. I said, but Dad, I want to sing. Go upstairs, pack your bags, get your behind. I'm telling you, my mother was, look, you ain't gonna put that boy out there. Go upstairs, I'm telling you, man, and put me out, man.
Well, Daddy said, we already gave his name up, so I ain't putting our son out.
They put me out, man. I don't care. I'm proud. But this man, if it wasn't for him, I learned what he meant. I learned what he meant. You know, they coming up in the time, you better have a job, man. And that's all he mean. You better have, you know, I know you can sing, but, you know, and I had to learn that. And I learned it. Me and my father got tight as you could be. I took him to Europe with me. We, you know, you live and you learn, man.
I mean, I like a lot of their songs. I think it's impactful because it speaks to so many generations. I mean, they can work the same album on tour for the next 20 years. And it's great melody. It's real music. It's kind of where it all started. You know, Frankie Beverly, the white hat, the white slacks, you know, you can't go wrong with that. I grew up on that. That's how I got here, probably.
I've been to several Frankie Beverly concerts, and, you know, at that point, when everyone starts singing, it becomes Frankie Beverly karaoke. And I just think that his songs are just fun. You know, they're fun and they're vibrant, and you just want to have a good time. I think he represents that.
Does it ever cross your mind what you would be doing if you didn't sing?
Very little. That crosses my line.
The reason I ask that question because there are a lot of people who had a dream of singing, but they gave up. They quit. They gave in. They didn't persevere. And they may be watching this. They may have passed on. And they are 68, 70, and they have regrets.
I can't imagine that, because that's what made me say. That's what made me say, man. And I'll say to anybody, don't you dare, man. Like, more than most people, like you say, don't pursue the gift that was given up.
No matter the field.
The gift, whatever. All of us have a thing. All of us. And some of us know it too. And you know, yeah, it's hard. Yeah, it's hard.
We talk about instruments, we're talking about music, we're talking about doing you. But who do you like to listen to?
You know, where I'm at now in my life, I'm an old schooler. I like jazz more than ever in my life. I play a lot. I love Miles Davis. I love his temperament, his whole thing. But I will also go on like international stations and hear what other people do too. I'm not you know, a hit breaker type thing. I'm not so much into that. I like all sorts of music, yeah. I don't have, if I have to go with people that I really love, and I would have to be old school, you know. I like the older singing, the older Sarah Vaughan and stuff like that. Like I said, Charlie Parker I love too. You know, I just kind of really like that, and the great songs, you know, it's just more or less that than what today's thing is.
Laid back kind of girl, you know what I mean? Because I'm a laid back kind of guy, so I like a laid back kind of girl. And you can go Joy and Pain, you can just go on and on, you know what I mean? Golden Time of the Day. You know, every song is just touches on everything, every emotion that's inside of you. And, you know, I always love seeing them in concert, and until the day they stop singing music, I'm going to continue to listen to them and continue to go to their concerts.
I'm not going to pick one. That's like picking your favorite child. You can't do that. Who's your favorite child? Come on. You can't pick one. You can't pick one. It's an impossible question. You can't. No way.
My favorite song, I don't know. It's a lot of them. It's kind of hard. After the morning after. Know that one? Oh, after the night before. You trying to get me to sing, huh? I like that one.
Next, the conversation heats up when Frankie Beverly breaks down being broke. So broke, in fact, that he had to live with a pimp. Yeah, you heard me right. Wait until you hear this story. Plus, the soulful singer Marvin Gaye helped him get his financial footing and bring Frankie Beverly and Maze to life. Folks, you're watching Simply Amazing, a conversation with Frankie Beverly right here on TV One.
He originally wanted to produce a record on us. And so years went by, and the man was taking care of us. He bought us new equipment, paid about a year back rent, because we didn't have much, man. We all lived together. Because the group broke up, so I didn't know what to do. He was a drummer, old drummer. This was an older guy.
Right.
Cared about me, really good, you know, good guy. So, and he suggested one night, him and another fella, said, man, let's take you up to Eastern Pennsylvania. I want you to see Harold Melvin and the. I said, I know them, I remember them. But when I knew Harold Melvin, they were just a singing group.
You knew them from the neighborhood.
From the neighborhood, and
not on stage.
Yeah, not on stage, but they were singing like the Dells and saying things like that. And he had 4 singers up front and a 4-piece band. So after I left there, it gave me this inspiration to do what you basically see now, a band behind us singers, you know, that's kind of was designed around what I learned from Harold, and that was the first time I had seen basically that in this R&B thing. Harold and them had this set up too, and it inspired me to depth, man. Because I was like, the group broke up, I was, man, how, you know, being whatever. And them cats, man, get up off your behind, man, get this thing together. And I put together 3 up front and 3 in the back.
And you were called?
I'd still called it the Butlers, though. Okay. Because it was my name.
Right.
So we went on, worked clubs. That's that act that went up down the East Coast, and just, it made me stay true to that. Yes, as it went along, it got better. We decided to do this, we decided to do that. And now suddenly we changed the name to Raw Soul.
To Raw Soul.
Raw Soul.
And then you have an encounter with the sister of...
Yes, Marvin Gaye. We were playing it in San Francisco, went from Philadelphia to San Francisco, chasing a little dream, you know, went out there, starved almost to death, you know. But we still working in clubs. She came in and saw us, really loved us, told us Marvin was interested in a band backing him up that could open up a few songs in the front of him. So I told him, well, I'm not interested in backing him up, but I'd sure like to get this opened in the thing in front of him. Right. So, and out of left field, one day we're playing, and he's sitting in the audience in the club too. Really, really little club. And just loved us, man, just a sweet man. The Raw Soul thing, he said, man, that's the ugliest ass name I've heard in my life, man. Change that ugly name. You're not gonna make it with that.
So Marvin Gaye says, yeah, I gotta get rid of this name. Right. Now, well, y'all saying, look, we know you Marvin Gaye, but man, we like our name. Or did y'all say?
Yeah, a little bit, but we were willing to change it.
Some clique said, this is Marvin Gaye.
Yeah, we were willing to change the name, you know, so.
So and, how did you come to Maze?
Tossing names around, tossing names. It must have taken months.
Is it Frankie Beverly and Maze, or is it Maze featuring Frankie Beverly? What is it?
It was originally Maze featuring Frankie Beverly. But because of what we are, we're a unit. People know we're a unit. People can say Frankie Beverly, they still mean Maze. They say Maze, they still, it's worked out.
I asked the question about the name because whenever I look at a lot of the unsungs on TV One, man, so many groups broke up because of ego.
Right.
Well, we didn't like so-and-so getting out front, getting all the shine and the publicity. And I'm sitting there going, man, look, if y'all getting paid.
Yeah, me too.
It does not matter. Yeah. How did y'all make sure you didn't have that drama, or did you? Where it was kind of like, well, you know, Frankie Beverly and Maze, we the band, and he out there. Versus, look, man, we all getting this check.
Yeah, I didn't have that. I mean, it was basically something I put together anyway. So there was a respect for that anyway. I mean, no, I never had that.
But how do you respond to that when you've known acts and they were phenomenal groups?
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden somebody leaves, they're not as big as a solo singer, and you're going, you broke up a good thing?
Yeah, I never understand that. I mean, I don't want to mention names. I've never understood how certain acts that I remember sitting here in my own mind couldn't get that together. I mean, even if it's a question of, okay, feature him. Why not? So? I mean, it's, you know, you're not gonna get no less than what you're supposed to get. It's not gonna change nothing. It is what it is. Usually those things work themselves out.
So Marvin Gaye basically touches you guys, anoints you guys.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, what happens? Now you got your name. Now you got the blessing of Marvin.
Yes.
Things take off.
Well, not immediately, because he wanted to produce us. He originally wanted to produce a record on us, And so years went by, and the man was taking care of us. He bought us new equipment, paid about a year back rent, because we had much, man. We all lived together, and
How many?
About 8 of us.
8 of y'all living in one place?
Yeah. Marvin sat me down one day, Frank, hold on, man. You know I love you. Boo, boo, boo. Of course, man. Boo, boo. Listen, man, I can't do what I was normally trying to do. And you know, I'm an artist. I'm an artist. I mean, if I get a great song, I ain't giving it to you. He's short. You know, and I understand that. Trust me, I'm the same way. But he was honest with me, man. He said, man, I'll whatever you need, I'll help you. But man, you know, try to do your thing. You know, send demos, or he was very, very honest with me.
He was honest,
yeah.
But surely you were sitting there thinking, okay, I appreciate the honesty, but okay, what we gonna do now?
No, because we had kind of made a name for ourselves in the clubs. Again, you know, we had, you know, this thing that we've done all our lives still helped us maintain ourselves. So we were okay. I know he was a good man, and so no, I didn't even trip like that. We sent demos around, and it wasn't even maybe over a year. That's long to have a demo floating around. But Larkin calls me one day. Hey man, you Frankie Beverly? Yeah. I gotta have this, man. This is the blip 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 and all this, man. You know, my then manager was with me, and I handed the phone to him because I had heard this message before. You know, I handed the phone to him, man. And he's talking, yeah, blah 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 blah, and I'm looking up at him. He said, yeah, and I said, is he serious? And he said, the first album, he was real. He really was. When he met me, he was, man, yeah, this is the he's always just like, wow, I hope I come through for this guy, you know. But no, he signed us. I had never produced an album, and I want to produce the album. Man, you can produce whatever you want to do, you know. And I kind of want to keep my publish, you know. You can have all your everything, man. Okay. Everything.
And that's God right there.
Didn't I say that?
Because that is not a music business story.
Hey, man, this is for real.
First hit record?
First hit record was Walla Malone. Wasn't big, but the first album overtook any single that we put out there. Mm-hmm. That's why Happy Feelings was never a single. They left Happy Feelings on the album because that was like killing.
Have you ever wondered what the logo for Maze means? Well, you'll find out after the break when Frankie Beverly fills us in on the significance of the 7-fingered hand. He also takes me on his trip to stardom and shares why he thinks folks in the South have shown Maze so much love over the years, and why the band is America's best kept secret, although black folks, we know what the secret sauce is. You're watching Simply Amazing, a conversation with Frankie Beverly on TV One.
To really get Frankie Beverly, aside from the many, many great records, is to be at a live Frankie Beverly show, particularly in the South, and watch the whole audience turn into like the most incredible choir that you never knew existed. So that's what happens at a Frankie Beverly concert. Everybody sings along. It feels so good. Whew, thank God for them Southern girls and all that other great Frankie Beverly. You make me happy and all that.
Woo. So Frankie, what's up with the logo? So, 6 fingers, 7 fingers, what's the deal?
Yeah, it's actually 6 fingers and 1 thumb. Obviously,
that's a big hand.
Because there were 7 of us in the band.
Right.
And that's where that came from.
Yeah. And you're the thumb.
I'm the thumb. So that's why it's 6 fingers and 1 thumb.
So when folks get out of hand, you press their thumb down on them,
I got
and you keep them straight.
I'm a strong.
You're the taskmaster.
But yeah, that did, and again, you know, like I said, that that hand, if you go, that's a maze too. You can go all the way to. We had contests for people winning that, as a matter of fact. Yeah. So it all works out again. It all makes sense, and it all does its thing.
Well, it's worked thus far.
Yeah, man, it has.
All right. I guess you might as well stay with it.
Yeah, I think so. think so, man.
All right, cool. Yeah. When did you really say, okay, I think we made it?
It was quite easy, actually. After about 3 months, maybe 2 months or something, I went down to the office down in the Capitol building, and I met with Mark. And, we were just talking, hey, man, you might do a promotion tour. We could put something, blah, 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 blah. And he asked me, he said, how many records do you think you sold so far? Because I wasn't hearing a lot up in the Bay Area. Mm-hmm. I wasn't hearing it a lot. So judging by that, I'm, a couple thousand, 4,000 or something like that. He said, man, you done sold about 200,000 albums in New Orleans alone. In New Orleans, the record had sold about 400,000 at this point. Something like that. It was really up and half of it came out of the New Orleans, Texas area. Yeah.
So
I was blown away with that. I had no idea what that was.
What is it about that? Because there has always been this unbelievable love affair between New Orleans and Mays. Yes. And you're right, Houston and Mays.
That's right. Very, very unusual, man. That's why I said, man, I'm blessed. This ain't me, this ain't just me. That's the way I look at it.
Earlier you talked about when performing, you said, look, man, when you had to go out there, you had to compete. Was there a particular singer or group who was on the same bill with y'all where you said, okay, we gonna have to bring it because they own it? I mean, Eddie LaVerse said whenever they would go out, it was the Temptations and the Four Tops and the Spinners, and cats were like, yeah, y'all gonna have to do a little something because we just hit the joint off.
It was a few that was like that in my day.
Who?
Oh, the Commodores, War, oh my goodness, the Fire, back in those hippie days, Slide, you better bring it, you better not be messing around. They embarrass you, but again, all of that stuff winds up helping you and making you just like that. To this day, I don't care who's on in front of me or what they did.
I've heard so many different stories how a lot of artists today, they don't want that kind of competition on the bill with them.
Yeah, that's ridiculous to me. That's ridiculous. You're not gonna go nowhere then. You're not gonna, that's absurd to me. That's what's gonna make you what you are, depending on you. This ball's in your court. Depending on you, you become a person. Eddie LaVerse, for instance, right now, Eddie LaVerse don't care who go in front or back it up. He don't care, man. And I know exactly what he meant. I don't care. I sometimes, if the show is too big, got 2 minutes, I don't even want to hear what's going on. I don't see the show anyway when I'm in the dressing room.
Right.
But sometimes I can hear the show. And sometimes I just I don't care. I don't want to even care. I don't want to have nothing to compare it with. We just go out there and do what we gonna do. But I believe that most of us have this same gift, a gift that they can do that would change their whole lives if they hung in there. I believe that to my heart.
Is there any one song that y'all have done that has meant more to you personally?
One, no, but there are some that stand out to me.
Such as?
We Are One stands out to me. For just the title tells you why.
Right.
I believe that to my heart. We're all the same. Stop the whatever.
Coming up, Frankie Beverly tells me what sultry songstress he would love to share the stage with, and also chats about his unique connection to soul diva Anita Baker. Plus, he'll tell you why she's really upset with him. More of Simply Amazing a conversation with Frankie Beverly right here on TV One. Is there anybody you've always wanted to do something with musically, you haven't had a chance to do so?
Sade.
Ooh.
And I tell you why I said that, because I've always liked her music and stuff too, but I never met her. Never met her, and I heard her one day doing an interview and talking about, they asked, well, who's your favorite? Oh, Frankie Beverly, blah, 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 blah. I would love to tour. Blah, blah. I was like, and we tried to put that together, but it was so hard. You know, she's, you know,
she's a free spirit.
I manage my thing. We don't have managers and stuff. So if I can decide, hey man, yeah, I'll take that break to get a chance to do boom, 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 boom. I can do that. She can't probably do that. They're gonna inflate stuff where it's impossible to put it together.
Right.
And she can't say nothing about it. But I believe that would have been a great tour, man.
Well, we might have to hook that up.
I think that's just, wow. And I've never met her, but I heard her speak beautifully about us, and that made me at least try to put this together. And it got off to a pretty good start, but then I could see what was going on.
Tell me about a song you've done that has a connection to Anita Baker.
The Morning After. I wrote that song for her.
Mm-hmm.
We had talked, and she was talking about it. Why don't you write me? And because that's like a woman's. She's the one that's concerned. When you do stuff like that, I thought from a woman's point of view, I thought that's what would be great for her. And when I got it together, I thought of what Marvin told me.
See, he's like, I ain't giving her this song.
I thought Marvin said the same. He said, man, if I got a great song, man, I ain't giving it to you. And I did the same thing, man. And it really bothered our relationship for a while. She didn't appreciate that at all. But I swear, man, that's what happened. Wow, man.
Have y'all made up since?
Yeah. Not like it used to be, but we have. But that's I did the same thing Marvin said. I sure did. Yeah. And she would have killed it too.
But you killed it.
Yeah, it was still nicely done,
Are there any songs you've done for other artists that the public may not realize you did it? You wrote it?
No, that's another thing.
You just kept all of them.
Just like Marv. That's why I related to what he was telling me. I thought even at that young time when he was talking that, wow, that sounds like me. I don't want to be. I don't want a label telling me, well, man, you better put something out there before wait a minute. So and put something out there that people don't like, and you ain't ready to put something out there. That's what you're telling me to do, So I wanted to be always in that sort of a position with the music, the kind of music you want to do. That's very, very important, man. People want to mess around in that have no business in that. And artists, you do what you do. Do what you do. Nobody else does that but you. Develop your thing,
mm-hmm.
It's over. It's over then. Because all you have to do is be you.
I used to talk about, to a lot of people, and they were always stunned by this, how phenomenal Maze was, yet never got recognized. I was on the internet one day and I went, wait a minute, they never won a Grammy? Soul Train Award? American Music Award? I went a Blockbuster Award? I went through, and it was stunning to me, again, this reaction, this love from the audience. And then y'all get honored by the Trumpet Awards. Was that one of the first?
That was the first.
That was the first major award.
That was the first.
Because I think it was three of you.
Yeah, me, Bug, and Rome. Yeah.
And
the original guys. Yeah.
Y'all were very emotional that day.
Yeah, it was. I think the audience made me more, emotional, because obviously at this point, that's not a big deal to us anymore. Yeah, it was like, it's a nice gesture and all that stuff, but when you wait this long, you've gotten over that. So I was more, it's nice of these people to do this. Our fans love it probably more than what we do.
And then you guys got honored by BET Honors, finally.
That's right.
And again, what I found to be amazing was you had this whole new generation of folks who were partying like.
Wow, man.
So y'all had stuff coming out they weren't even here. They weren't even. A lot of them were not even thoughts. But again, it was this multi-generational love and appreciation.
Yeah, this and it never ceases. It's like night after night. Because during the show, I was saying, how many of y'all seeing us for the very first time? Some places it's a quarter of the place. That's a lot. And I'm like, wow, that's young people, man. I mean, I see them all up front now. I'm like, how do they know happy feelings?
Well, because one, I don't care who you are right now. Trust me, Frankie, this is no lie. I've said this to many a DJ where I've been at a party where it was boring, it was whack. I said, look here, I need y'all to put on Before I Let Go. And I said, I'm telling you, this party about to get started. And once they hear that intro, boom, the party goes crazy.
Yeah, man. That's what I'm talking about. Man. What can you do with that? There's no way I can complain about any way this thing is going. We have done astronomical.
Next, Frankie Beverly opens up about battling vocal stress and how wearing all white linen outfits and his signature baseball caps on stage became his signature look. You're watching Simply Amazing, a conversation with Frankie Beverly right here on TV One. You've had to battle health. Mm-hmm. Your voice, that's your instrument.
That's right.
I interviewed Harry Belafonte when we talked about this when he had surgery and how that caused him to lose his voice in his singing career. Lionel Richie talked about that as well. That is that's a scary thought for a singer, and you've had to battle through that.
I've been blessed enough to almost been given this Billie Holiday thing. Billie Holiday had a wonderful, beautiful voice too. But her biggest music came when she didn't have that voice anymore. God bless the child, when she had made herself find another way to get around this problem. As much as I've been thinking about the last 50 years, I was 15 years old when I saw it. 50 years of this, you're gonna have some voice trouble. You're gonna have some. And the only people that don't get voice trouble are the people that don't work. The acts that don't work a lot, yes, you say, damn, they can still, wow, listen to that. They don't work. The acts that work, tour, all the time, you're gonna get voice problems. It comes with the territory. What I've been blessed with, man, is sometimes he works it out for me. And I've learned how to do this thing and still get you. I don't know how. All I know is this is very, very real. Some nights I think, wow. Because it comes and it goes. It's one of them things. It's not, thank God it's not cancer. It's not, no, it's just road rage.
Right. Weariness.
Yeah, it's just
wear and tear.
You know, that's what it is.
It's a tread on a tire.
It is, man. So, and sometimes it's better than what I think it's going to be. So I've learned man, just get on out there, man.
I don't know how many times I've seen you off stage, and you got all black on. And then you got all white on stage. Wait, are you planning this thing?
You know, that was a people thing anyway. If you look back if you remember that far back, you know, but I had a bunch of stuff that I used to wear. It wasn't an all-white thing.
So where did the all-white thing come from?
The people, I would get off stage some places, you didn't wear white tonight, right? You know, people would say that to me. And I'm saying, what's the white thing? You know? So, and I decided, well, okay, if they want me in white, I'll just wear white.
What do you want people to always remember about Frankie Beverly and Mays?
That it's the real deal. That we love them. Our music speaks for itself. It's about, I care about people. I care about my brothers and sisters. People mean a lot to me. It's just always been a people person. I've gotten breaks in my life. And the one thing is just, you know, is this thing called love. And I ain't trying to be this corny kind of, I'm talking about love, real love. Love is the key. Somebody say love is the key. And that's, remember whatever happened, remember Mays and remember me for love.
Well, Howard.
Yeah.
Frankie, man, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure.
All right, man. I
always
appreciate
good chatting
it, man.
with you.
Appreciate it, man. You're
All right,
always
too.
there, too, man.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're always there, man.
So how do you put 40 years into 1 hour? Well, we certainly hope you enjoyed our effort to explain what is it about Frankie Beverly and Mays that black folks love so much. Their sound is certainly unique. They are different. I mean, imagine any other group not putting out a new album in more than 25 years. And no matter where they go, folks still show up and pack the joint out, wanting to get tickets to sing and dance to all of their music. We got one more treat, though, and that is, it was at the 2017 Tom Joyner Fantastic Voyage Cruise when the DJ played Before I Let Go, and he came out to the dance floor to sing to the song while he and I danced together to one of his signature hits. Have a great night, and be sure to tune in to TV One's News One Now every day, 7 a.m. right here. Have a great one.